Come on, Annie. Let's go to the movies.
This is the Cinereelists, episode 650. My name is Kyle.
My name is James.
And my name is Zach.
And we're here to talk movies, movie lists, and movie obsession for the next hour or so. Guys, 650 feels like we should be doing something special. I don't know why, but it's a round number, roundish.
We are doing something special.
Well, I mean, every episode is special, Zach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have a check-in, but I want to quickly mention that James is rapidly running out of space behind him for movies.
No, come on.
Rapidly running out?
I feel like
It's been the
he's
same.
No, I feel like he's running out of room.
I see a lot of movies leaning. So I feel like every time you see a lean, that's like another 2 or 3 in that row you can get in there.
Yeah.
Since I put this up, I haven't added that many.
Okay.
Maybe 100.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Only
I
100.
think James can add another
Like
50 just by eyeballing it.
like 100 in the last year.
I think you could add another 50. I think that's a great estimate.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think he probably has another 50 in a pile somewhere.
Oh, I have a whole pile right there. And all the criterions are out in my living room.
That's
Um,
awesome.
But what I need to do is go through these and just get rid of the ones that I'm probably never gonna watch.
How many
Sure.
do you think you would get rid of? Like just off the top of your head.
Not enough to make a huge dent.
Okay.
I
So we're talking like a dozen or 50?
No. Probably closer to 50 now that you say
Okay.
that number. Yeah. It's movies like Gigi from the 50s. It's like, I bought that. I haven't watched it yet. I might watch it before I sell it, but there's really no reason for me to leave that on the shelf unless that didn't win Best Picture, did it?
I think it did.
That's why I own it then. I was
Mm.
trying to figure out why I own that. That's why
Yeah.
I own it. At
Yeah.
one point, I was going to try to get every Best Picture, which is still a goal, but I haven't been actively pursuing it lately.
What about Geely? You keep that one?
I don't have that, but
Oh.
I wouldn't be against it just because it would be a fun one to have on the shelf. There's a couple that I hold on to just because they're stupid. Like I have a copy of Gotti,
Oh, the Travolta?
the only Movie Pass movie that like
Yeah, that's
got a-
right. Movie Pass financed that movie.
that got a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Have you
I have
watched
that.
it?
I have a copy of Apollo 13 with the worst Blu-ray cover I've ever seen in my life. Have I ever shown you guys this Blu-ray cover?
No, I kind of
we
Oh,
gotta
I
we
wanna
gotta
see
do it real quick. This is worth it.
I
Okay.
really want to see it.
All right. Yeah, I'm intrigued by this. Zach, what do you think it's going to be to make a terrible
Apollo 13. I think it's going to be really poorly photoshopped. I think it's going to apply and have all the actors, but just be incredibly bad Photoshop.
and
do you
just like a moon in the background?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think it's going to be?
What movie
Yeah,
did
I
I say
think
it was again? Oh,
You
Apollo
said
13.
Apollo 13. Oh man, James can't remember what happened 5 seconds ago.
All right, let's see if we wait. His A's are that far down?
Really? Okay, I'm gonna get my Apollo 13 because I'm curious to compare it now.
Wait, are we all getting Apollo 13?
Yeah, do you have your Apollo 13,
I'm
Zach?
I'm going to stay here and
Okay, I'm getting my
entertain-
Apollo 13.
I'm going to actually do the podcast while you guys are gone.
Okay. So I have Apollo 13 on 4K. So there's no reason for me to own it on Blu-ray. But I can't part with this Apollo 13 because
Can I first show Zach the 4K Apollo
Yeah,
13 cover?
absolutely.
Okay, so this is probably what it should look like.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
familiar with.
Yeah, 3 guys. It's Tom Hanks, Kevin Bacon, Bill Paxton. The moon's in the background.
Still a bad cover.
It's not great. It's still like decent Photoshop at best.
That cover is awesome compared to this cover.
I want to see yours now.
Also a shot of the 3 astronauts and those 3 actors. Are you ready?
Okay. Yep.
Just
It's
take a second and look right into those faces.
Tom Hanks looks like he's just nonplussed about. So it's for people who can't tell, it's like a cartoon drawing of the 3 actors.
Like a rotoscope of their.
Yeah, it's they look like Beavis and Butthead characters. It's the
I mean,
best way to
they-
describe them.
It's borderline offensive to like
White people?
Neurodivergent people, I would say. Anyway,
I don't know what that means, but that is a bad cover.
Supposedly this was part of a pop culture series of Blu-ray releases where they had one artist draw all the covers and then they sold it in Walmart with a different cover, hoping collectors would buy it. And clearly somebody did. And then I ended up with it.
That's awesome.
Anyway, I'm not even an artist, and I'm pretty sure I could draw better than that.
I could draw that. Guys, I do have a check-in.
Let's hear it.
Oh yeah, what's your check-in?
We talked recently about the fact that, originally the Cinereelists used to have a whole trophy system about learning entire filmographies, memorizing them, and then saying them, and then earning a trophy.
Sure.
And then we'd stopped doing it for a while.
You
like
stopped doing it for
years.
9.5 years.
Yeah. And I thought it'd be fun to bring it back.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So I thought today I could go for a trophy.
Yeah.
Which
I'm
trophy
down.
are you going for?
Yeah.
The Jordan Peele trophy.
Oh my gosh.
Directing?
Directing, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Now, remind people, the listeners, what is the criteria to earn a trophy?
Okay, so we actually have rules. Can I read the rules?
Please.
These are on our website for reference if anyone needs to remember. This is called Total Recall. We pick the filmography of an individual. It could be a director, actor, cinematographer, etc., and challenge each other to memorize the entire filmography in chronological order. You must memorize the year of release along with each film. Only theatrically released narrative full-length films are included. You must include all punctuation. And if you don't get it, then you alternate to someone else.
Question.
Yeah.
Are you doing Jordan Peele as an actor or as
I'm
a
doing him as a
director?
director.
As a director.
Okay.
Yes.
There will be a little star there as a director.
That's true.
Okay.
Wait, what do you mean there's a little star there as a director?
Like you get the trophy, but it'll be a starred trophy because
Why would it be a starred trophy?
he's an actor.
No,
He started as an actor and then became a director.
I don't.
So
think there
I just
should
want to
be
make sure there's
any
no
exception.
confusion. There's no confusion that you're not doing a total recall on his acting work. You're doing a total recall on his directing work.
I think the
Well,
trophy can just say Jordan Peele parentheses director.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's no asterisk.
There's no.
needed.
Yeah. Like he's not
I'm just
doing.
saying it's not the same as Steven Spielberg, who you assume you're doing director on.
Well, guys, fun fact: I'm actually going to do Steven Spielberg, the actor, today.
Feel free, and we will put a little parentheses next to it that says actor.
Yeah. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Do you have it pulled up so you can fact check me?
I just want to clarify.
I do.
We're looking at 3 movies, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
His entire filmography I have memorized in my head.
Wow. I
Yeah.
cannot imagine the amount of minutes you spent on this.
I really want you to get one wrong.
I'm counting on it at this point. Okay, let me cover it up on my screen so I make sure I don't accidentally look at it. Okay.
Oh, so you're looking at it right before you started? You're like cramming before the test?
Well, I just wanted to double check I knew it.
Okay. You knew all
Okay, you
3
guys
of
ready?
these? Yeah.
The Jordan
I'm ready.
Peele filmography. Get Out from 2017.
Ding.
Us 2019.
Ding.
Nope 2022.
You got it.
Wow.
Really good.
Record time.
Thanks, guys. Now,
So,
we were
didn't we have
talking
a
about
rule
how
that like you can beat the other person if you do it faster?
Yeah. Can I do that right now?
No. I asked
No, you
James
gotta
last time if you could take a trophy from someone. It's like, nope. Once you get the trophy, it's yours, no
You're
matter
right.
what.
I thought you could take a trophy, but I guess could I take the Jordan Peele trophy once the 4th movie of his comes out?
That's what I asked James, and he said no.
Oh, I disagree.
I don't think so.
I think once there's something new to the collection, you can take it.
I mean, I think a trophy's a trophy. You got it for life. And if you're proud of that 3-movie trophy since 2017, then be proud of it.
No, here's what I'm proud of. we talked last time about the fact that we stopped the game specifically because we chose really long filmographies that were like crazy. And we haven't done it for so long. And I was like, well, let's bring it back with a nice easy one just to throw it in the mix.
I'm going to do another one. I already have somebody in mind. I'm going to do another one.
Love it.
Zach has inspired me.
You're going to do it right now?
No, not right now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because that would give you guys a window to like come back next week and try to steal it from me. So, because there's no chance I could get it right now. But I'm thinking of a director who probably has 15 movies. That feels doable.
That's doable.
Within the next month or so. I think I can memorize 15 movies with year of release. It was John Williams and like Hitchcock that screwed us. Those were so long.
Yeah.
I'll do one too, just to keep the train going after James does it.
Okay. Sounds good.
Are you going to do Ari Aster?
No, Alex Garland.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. Or Damien Chazelle.
As a writer or director?
Oh, both. Tarantino. No, I think someone has the Tarantino one already. So
no, there's no Tarantino.
No Tarantino one. Oh man, I could probably do that right now without even.
Not with year.
No, you couldn't.
I bet you couldn't with year.
You definitely could not.
Well, okay. I'm not gonna.
Do you want to try? I mean, I'd be incredibly impressed.
Okay. Yeah. You
but
know what?
You won't get it. I mean, there's no way.
I probably won't get it. The minute I'm wrong.
You can't do it again until one of us tries it.
Sure. Okay.
And then we'd have to get it wrong for you to get another shot at it.
I'm just gonna try it. The minute I get one wrong, you can just ding me.
Okay.
I feel compelled to remind you, you have to say punctuation.
And that's probably where I'm gonna get dinged right there. And then I just want to clarify, we're talking Death Proof is a Tarantino movie.
Yes.
Okay. That I might get tripped up there. Okay. Here we go. Reservoir Dogs, 1992. Pulp Fiction, 1994. Jackie Brown, 1997. This is now where I got a little cocky. It's Kill Bill, VOL, period, the number one.
No.
Okay.
Zach, you had colon volume.
I had
spelled
colon
out, right?
volume 1, yeah.
Right. Volume number 1.
Okay, so it's not VOL, it is colon. All right.
It's colon,
is that
full word, and then a number.
Is that 2001, the year for that one?
2003.
Okay, so I would have been off anyway.
Yeah. All
right.
Now you got to wait for one of us to try it.
That's totally fine.
And lose it for you to get another shot.
That's okay. You know, I'm glad I just tried it just to see if I could get it.
We've never done it with 3 people. What if like both Zach and I come back next week and we both want to take it from you? Who gets to
I think in that case, I'm going to
time
time it. And whoever does it faster gets it. And obviously, if one of you does and gets it wrong, the other person does it right, they get it. But if you both do it correctly, it'd be time.
So maybe one person, the person not doing it, takes their headphones off while the other person attempts.
So they're not allowed to even hear it one more time?
You just won't know what the time you're supposed to beat is. You know
but
what I mean?
You would still know, because I mean, time passes the same whether your headphones are on or off.
Yeah,
I just think from a suspense
can you measure
game
seconds
show
like that?
perspective,
Yes.
From a suspense game show perspective, it would be better if we did it separately and then came back and revealed the times.
No, I think what I would do is I would have one of you do it. I would time it. I would not tell you your time. And then have the other person do it. And then I would reveal who was faster of the two.
I mean, it's halfway to what I was saying, but fine.
Okay.
How about we do it at the same time, both of our headphones off?
And whoever finishes.
Oh, interesting.
That's
So
going to
we
be hard
can't
for me
hear
to
each
pay
other.
attention, though, about like what if you make a mistake, though.
It's all recorded.
Just talk over each other the whole time.
I just need like one of you in left channel, one of you in right.
On the Wikipedia page for Quentin Tarantino, it has a pretty cool chart of his collaborators in each movie. It's a pretty sweet chart.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing you get with Wikipedia. Cool charts.
Yeah, James, I love Wikipedia.
I don't think you do.
I absolutely love it. I'm a big proponent of Wikipedia. It does some things really well, like charts. Great at charts.
And timelines. Those timelines pretty well.
For sure.
And not bombarding you with dumb ads that you don't want to look at anyway.
I have an ad blocker, James. You should get an ad blocker. I
recommend.
recommend
I have
it.
an ad blocker.
Yeah,
You
but
should get a better one that doesn't let through ads on IMDb.
I use what do I use? It's whatever you told me to use.
Yeah, what do you use, Zach?
uBlock Origin.
uBlock Origin.
Okay.
Does it
Yeah, 'cause-
block the ads on IMDb?
Absolutely. Most of
Okay,
them.
so you're just making a disingenuous argument.
No, I'm
understand.
saying that with or without an ad blocker, there's no ads on Wikipedia.
There are absolutely ads on Wikipedia to donate to Wikipedia.
No, that's self-promotion. That's not an ad.
That's
an
not-
ad
that's
is
not an
a
ad?
third-party paid service.
That's like
now.
saying IMDb logo in the corner is an ad. It's not.
It's
an
like
ad.
it's like saying that there are ads on PBS.
Right.
PBS is ad-free. They have
Mhm.
promotions.
No, hold on. But if the thing he's complaining about
I'm with
is like
Kyle.
there's big pop-ups that take up real estate in your view when you're trying to get information, they function the exact same way.
Well, but Wikipedia doesn't. I mean, it has a pop-up, but it's more of like a push down. It doesn't cover the content. It just goes on top. Like it goes at the top of your page, and your content gets moved down.
Does IMDb's ads cover the content?
I mean, they all pop up videos. No, I agree. IMDb ads are annoying. They have autoplay trailers, which I don't care for. There's many things about IMDb presentation I don't care about. However, if I want quick movie information, I still go to IMDb.
The only
Minus
reason I
the
could see
user experience.
the only reason I could see going to IMDb over Wikipedia is to get the Austrian release date of a movie. Like some of the data they have on there is sure, I guess, valuable to some people, but I don't really care about it. I would always hit Wikipedia first for the base level information I need. That's for sure. Their trivia is pretty good too, although that's fallen off quite a bit.
IMDb trivia?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you never know how true any of that stuff is.
It used to be a lot more reliable and a lot more better.
More better?
More better.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do some more better lists this week.
Okay. Let's do it.
Let's pick some winners.
Let's pick some winners, Kyle.
Wait, I said that, or have you AI'd me now?
I've not AI'd you. You said that at some point.
That one I don't remember saying.
Well, you said it. Before we jump into the episode proper, don't forget, there's a video version of this podcast on YouTube. Go check it out there. Support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Cinereelists. Leave us an Apple Podcast review. We'd appreciate that. That's free, 5 stars only. You could also send us a listener email to heyguys@cinereelists.com. This is the last week for the Patreon, the old Patreon after show feed. So if you haven't made the change, it's not too late. You can go into Patreon, get your custom individualized Patreon after show feed if you're a Patreon. If you need any help with that, James@cinereelist.com. You guys ready to jump into this week's list?
Let's do it.
Let's jump into a list.
Perfect. Another one. I have a couple.
Let's rank some
I know.
characters.
Let's rank some characters.
Let's rank some movies.
Well, yeah, that one we've had around for a long time.
Good job, Daddy.
All right.
Can you include that as well?
Sure.
Wait. I just want to bank one for you. Ready?
Okay.
Let's do some house cleaning. Sorry, no, it's housekeeping. Never mind.
Let's do some house cleaning.
Let's rank some. Good job, Daddy.
That's my remix.
The remix.
Let's rank some good job, Daddy. All right. Whose idea was this?
This was Zach's idea.
This
This was
Zach's
my idea.
Was it?
Yeah. But I don't think we have shared what the idea is yet.
Oh, this was your idea like a few weeks ago. You were saying, hey, we should do a week where we just what? Do you remember saying this, Zach?
Nice. Yeah, I do now.
Okay.
Where we all come with a list, but we don't tell each other what it is. So we're gonna have 3 different mystery secret lists.
Right. Exactly. So it might be
In
a
honor
little
of 650.
yeah, retroactively in honor of 650. That's why we're doing this thing that I don't think. I mean, we have extra lists on the hangover episodes, but those we're going through as fast as we possibly can. This time we get to like take our time with it, and it should be a good time. It might be a little chaotic in the beginning because it's 3 completely different topics that we're round robining.
Supposedly, we might have accidentally picked the same list.
That is not possible in my case, but maybe it's possible between you guys, but literally not possible with mine.
Okay.
Unless you just titled it differently. In theory, you could have the same movies, yes, but not the same title. Or if you did, that would be really weird. Anyway, you guys ready to get into this?
Yeah. Let's pick some winners.
All right. Kyle, you want to go first?
Sure. I'd love to go first.
Okay. First, tell us your list, why you chose it, what your criteria was.
Yeah. Well, I think once I give you the title of my list, it'll be pretty self-explanatory why I chose it. My list are my top 10 movies that feature a character named either Zach or James.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
So the first thing I did
Carl?
is I did a search for like movie characters named James, and I accepted Jim and Jimmy. Right, I kind of took the James overall, and I was like, okay, and I chose five. Of those.
You kept Jimmy?
I mean, I would say Jimmy is a nickname for James.
Right, but you were picking these names because they represent your co-hosts, right?
Specifically because James goes by James.
I've never, ever gone by Jim or Jimmy.
All these characters are named James. Some of them may go by Jim or Jimmy, but they are all named. Their Christian names are James.
All right. That's all I ask for.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
All I ask is for the Christian names to be correct, please.
So anyway, I thought, well, I want to do this kind of evenly, so I will pick 5 James movies, right? So I picked kind of like the 5 movies I thought of my list, or of this list of James characters. Here are my 5 favorite. And then I was like, okay, now I need 5 Zach movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I found exactly 5 Zach movies. And I had to go rather obscure Zach characters to make that list.
They don't name a lot of characters Zach.
They don't name a lot of characters Zach.
You have to go
I
to the
wonder
80s
why.
for that.
Why is that?
I don't. I think they like to go with like the common biblical names: James, Mark, David, John.
I mean, Zachary's it's not John and James for sure, but
I know it's a biblical name.
It's a well-known biblical name, I would say. Anyway, go ahead.
Now, I did just do a search on IMDb, advanced search, for characters named Zach.
Okay.
Right.
And there's 7,697 films with characters named Zach.
And I definitely should have used IMDb to an advanced search. I just Googled characters named Zach and found a couple lists. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's okay.
But that's okay, because I still found 5 movies I like. So anyway, I have 10 movies, and then I just ranked them by how much I like them. And I think it would be fun to find out, do I like Zach movies or James movies more?
Meaning movies with characters that resemble our names.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So I thought we could make a little fun game out of this. I will say the character's name, and you can see if you can guess the movie.
Okay.
Okay. So
How about instead of that, you tell us the movie and we tell you whether there's a Zach or a James in it? That would be harder.
No, I think that'd be pretty easy.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Number 10.
Mm-hmm.
The character's name is Dr. Zachary Smith.
Mr.
This
Smith
is a
goes to Washington.
What?
No.
No, this is a 1998 movie. I'll give you just like 1 or 2 guesses. I don't want to take too long. So you're not going to get it, by the way.
The Island of Dr. Moreau.
No.
I don't know.
Zach, do you have a guess?
No.
How can anyone forget 1998's Lost in Space?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. That's
with
a Zach.
Matthew, whatever his name is.
Matt LeBlanc.
Matt LeBlanc.
William Hurt. Gary Oldman plays the titular Dr. Zachary Smith.
And
Heather Graham's in this movie too.
What was the daughter? What was her name?
Was it Lacey Chabert or Mimi Rogers?
Yes, Lacey Chabert. I had a crush on her.
Okay. James likes this movie.
Yep.
Well, this movie is not good. It's a movie, a remake.
No, that movie's good.
Lost in Space.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this movie not being good. I definitely saw this
great.
in the theater. I don't know if I saw it with you, Zach, or not, but I definitely saw it in the theater. And if people aren't familiar with Lost in Space, it's the Robinsons. They get lost in space. It takes place in the future. There's a robot, Robbie the robot, who's a very famous, sci-fi creation. And it's about them trying to get back home.
Mhm.
And I think Gary Oldman plays the bad guy. He's the reason they get lost in the first place. I remember this movie aside from the cast, again, Gary Oldman, William Hurt, Matt LeBlanc, Phoebe Rogers, Lacey Chabert, goes on. Strong cast, but not a good movie, not an interesting movie. Just seemed like a cash grab of like, oh, hey, things from the 50s are popular in the 90s. Let's reboot a TV show a la Addams Family or other things like that. But it's got a Zachary in it.
All right.
Very cool.
Fair enough. Zach, you want to go next?
Sure, I'll go next. You guys are gonna have to help me with what to title my list. I'll tell you how I created my list.
Okay.
You have to help me know how to title it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Letterboxd has a feature where you can sort movies by your interests.
Okay.
And it's kind of a black box what that means. Okay. But you can sort the movies by your interests. So what I did was I took the entire list of Letterboxd films, which is close to 1 million films.
Mm-hmm.
I sorted them by my interests and then only selected ones that I have not seen. So these are 10 movies I haven't seen. The top 10 movies that Letterboxd thinks I will be most interested in based on my interests.
I think that's your title right there.
Yeah.
And so we're going to see what Letterboxd thinks about me by the end of this list.
Okay.
Okay. So my number 10 is, and you also have to tell me if you've seen these movies.
Sure.
My number 10 is called About Endlessness. It's from 2019. It's directed by Roy Anderson. And I encourage you to Google this movie, About Endlessness. The cover is a man holding a woman and they're floating through a misty night sky.
I like the poster.
The plot summary is a reflection on human life in all its beauty and cruelty, its splendor and banality, guided by a Schwarzenegger-esque narrator. Inconsequential moments have the same significance as historical events. Simultaneously, an ode and a lament presents a kaleidoscope of all that is eternally human and an infinite story of the vulnerability of existence.
Zach, you're going to love this movie.
It is 78 minutes long.
Yeah.
It has an average Letterboxd score of 3.7 stars. And this is my number 10 most by my interest movie that I haven't seen on Letterboxd.
I mean, the reviews are good.
Yeah.
I never heard of this. Evidently, it's a Swedish film.
Yeah, it looks Swedish.
I mean, a 3.7 on Letterboxd is not bad.
Now, there is one thing on Letterboxd that I think might kind of be a big part of what the in your interests means.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a similar films kind of category at the bottom of every films' page.
Right.
Here's some of the films it lists as similar. Synecdoche, New York.
You like that?
Banshees of Inisherin.
Okay.
And a ghost story.
You didn't like A Ghost Story.
I didn't like A Ghost Story.
But this visual reminds me of A Ghost Story.
Yeah, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Zach,
so
your
do you guys
similar
think?
films are different than my similar films.
Oh, is that true?
So I have Synecdoche, New York and Banshees of Inisherin. I also have Barbie in my list.
Oh, no. We have the same ones. I skipped Barbie because it's probably super popular. And so it's always going to be connected.
Okay.
No matter who, I think it's too popular to skew the system.
But I don't have A Ghost Story in my list, though.
Oh, well, if you clicked all and kept looking.
Oh, okay. I thought you just wanted to by the banner there. Okay.
So yeah, what do you guys think? I think it sounds.
I think
don't
you
know
should
at all
watch
what
it and let me
is.
know if I should.
Sure. Yeah. I think it could be. Are you guys familiar with Roy Anderson?
No.
He makes some very interesting films. Like, James, do you remember what's it called? Is it called Shortcuts or what's that like Spanish language film where it's a bunch of short films?
Wild Tales.
Wild Tales, yeah.
Oh yeah.
He makes films like Wild Tales.
Cool.
There's one called The Pigeon Sat on a Branch. They're just like crazy. And so if he did it, I think it's going to be at least interesting.
Yeah, Zach, this seems right up your alley. And I think you should watch it and then tell me how many minutes in until I turn it off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay. So my number 10, About Endlessness.
Nice. I'm into it. My list is the top 10 movies James never gets to talk about. So
Good
this
list.
is literally just a list of, if I've mentioned these on the podcast, I never really got to talk about them. And so now I'm going to do that.
All right.
So you guys will have to tell me whether it should have made this list or if I've had ample time to talk about this. Okay. This is
Okay.
You guys get to judge me on that. My number 10 is Vanishing Point from 1971. Have you guys ever heard me talk about Vanishing Point from your memory?
No.
Have either of you guys ever seen Vanishing Point?
No.
You should
Heard of it.
definitely watch Vanishing Point. So, late 70s action movie, mostly a car movie, like cars racing each other and driving or trying to knock each other off the road out in the desert type of stuff. The kind of movie that Hollywood made in the 70s where they just like took muscle cars and just went out to the desert because it was close to Hollywood and then made action movies. So in this one, you've got Barry Newman, Cleavon Little, and Dean Jagger, and they're driving muscle cars cross country, and they're high on speed. Like the movie makes a intense focus on the idea that they're on drugs, and that's why they can drive like maniacs and like have no fear and stuff like that. And it is definitely like become a cult film because of the action scenes and just how kind of insane the car stunts are, and insane in ways in which they would never do that again, because now you can CG that and it's much more safe. And back then they were a little freewheeling, and it was kind of a miracle that nobody died making this movie and others in the genre at the time, for sure. And if you want to experience kind of a little bit of a grindhouse movie, but also with a Hollywood budget type of thing, I think, or you found Duel to be boring, but kind of a chasey thing in the desert, this is like it's like Duel with muscle cars, I would say. And it's pretty awesome. The main character is an ex-policeman who got addicted to speed, and now he's trying to get justice for somebody because he still has that, policeman streak in him, even though he's constantly
addicted
high.
to the velocity speed or drug speed?
The drug speed.
Oh, okay.
The trailer is hilarious because they're like, ex-policeman out for justice, and he's on speed.
Okay, nice.
Anyway.
It's been remade, I think.
Yeah, for a streamer or TV or something. What is it? Remake. Created for Fox Television in 1997.
Oh.
And in 2015.
Oh, I'm not even seeing that, but what for 2015?
I
think it's a documentary about a car accident.
Oh.
Is this the
same
kind of
thing.
movie that influenced Death Proof?
100%.
Tarantino one. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
this is the type of movie he was mainlining as a kid,
All right. Excellent.
for sure.
Cool. All right. My number 9 Zach or James movie is from 2005. And the character's name is Zachary, but he goes by Sack Lodge.
He goes by Sack.
Goes by Sack in the movie.
Just like you do.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm Kyle. That's James. And there's our friend Sack. Zachary Sack Lodge.
Okay. No idea.
Zachary Sack Lodge. Maybe Bad News Bears?
Nope. Played by Bradley Cooper in 2005's Wedding Crashers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was he Sack because like somebody kicked him in the
I think
area?
it's because he's supposed to be a tool. So he's like,
Okay.
my nickname's gonna be a euphemism for genitalia.
Gotcha. All right.
Because
No. You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's definitely the villain of Wedding Crashers, if you could say there's a villain.
Yeah.
Because if you guys remember Wedding Crashers, right? Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn,
Mm-hmm.
and their whole shtick is they crash weddings to party and hook up with girls. And they crash a wedding of Rachel McAdams and Bradley Cooper. And Owen Wilson falls for Rachel McAdams or maybe it's like a bridal. I can't remember. At some point he falls for her and the whole wedding. They get invited out to the wedding in not the Kennedy compound.
Mm-hmm.
And through the whole movie, Bradley Cooper's just being a tool. And you're like, oh man, I hate that guy. Why is she going to marry him and not Owen Wilson? Spoiler alert, they do end up together.
Spoiler alert for wedding
for
crashers.
Wedding Crashers. It is a rom-com.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this is a movie I remember seeing in college. It was funny. It definitely had rotation amongst me and my friends, and definitely the first time I recognized both Rachel McAdams and Bradley Cooper as like individual actors. I know I'd seen things that they were in before that, but their faces had not clocked. Did this come out before or after The Notebook, though? So maybe I saw Rachel McAdams in The Notebook first.
I think The Notebook was after.
Probably. Oh, really? Okay.
I think Notebook was
Okay.
08.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Somebody fact check me.
08 seems late.
I don't know.
Ryan Gosling wasn't that far into the 2000s. Wasn't Ryan Gosling in Notebook?
The Notebook?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, my 9th favorite James/Zach movie.
For the record, The Notebook was released in 2004.
Okay, so I guess I had known Rachel McAdams from that one before, but Bradley Cooper, that was my first time I recognized him as an individual actor.
Sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. My number 9 movie from Letterboxd, sorted by my interests that I haven't seen, is called Local Hero from 1983, directed by Bill Forsyth. Have either of you seen this movie?
Doesn't sound like
Never
a movie
heard of
I've
it.
seen.
Okay. Here's the plot. An American oil company sends a man to Scotland to buy up an entire village where he wants to build a refinery, but things don't go as expected. So I get from this that there's like a bigwig business guy goes to small town Scotland, ready to like buy up the town, and then probably the town charms him in some way, would be my guess of what this movie is. Burt Lancaster is the star of it. And the similar films it has are Amelie, Waking Ned Devine, Groundhog Day, The Life Aquatic, and Grand Budapest Hotel.
Oh. So maybe like a Wes Anderson vibe to this?
Perhaps. It's from the early 80s, and it's by a director who made a film called Being Human, which I don't think anyone else has seen, and I always really liked. We rented it once on VHS. It's a Robin Williams film where he plays like 8 different characters throughout history.
Okay.
Like he's like a Roman and like all sorts of different people. Anyways, I really liked that film, and no one's ever heard of it. And same director as this. So I don't know why I'd recommended it to me, but what do you guys think? Does it sound interesting?
Can I read to you the first sentence of a popular review for this movie?
Yeah.
Okay. Local Hero is a quiet storm that, instead of relying on gags, disarms you with its soothing, melancholy touch that simply works wonders, while providing its statement on materialism and environmental protection that still rings true almost 30 years later. It sounds thrilling.
That sounds good. I liked that.
I do like that it's disarming and soothing.
Can I read to you what Jordan Horowitz wrote on Letterboxd?
Yeah,
Jordan
sure.
Horowitz, the producer of La La Land, amongst
Of
others.
course.
He wrote, I asked
Did you write
Twitter.
Moonlight 1?
No.
Okay, sorry.
He wrote, I asked Twitter what their most perfect movie was. Not best, but perfect. Lots of folks said Local Hero, and it was one I'd never seen, so I watched it. Just so beautiful. And yes, perfect.
Hey, there you go. That's high praise from him.
For sure.
Okay.
I didn't even know Jordan Horowitz was on Letterboxd.
So another one I need to check out.
Definitely. I added it to my watch list too. That sounds interesting
Nice.
and relaxing. I need more relaxing movies in my life.
Right.
My number 9, most film I want to talk about right now, because I never get to talk about it, is Razorback from 1984. This is an Australian natural horror film, according to Letterboxd. It's basically Jaws, but in the Australian outback with a razorback pig, a giant razorback pig. And it's so good. It's another like very cultish movie, like cult film, cult following type film at this point. It's so good though. The practical effects are unconvincing yet super fun to watch, and the acting performances are like a 12 for no reason other than that they want you to feel like this is super intense, and the lighting is perfectly unrealistic, I would say. Like there will be scenes where they're like running around at night trying to catch the razorback, and like for some reason they're backlit, but there's no moon in the sky or anything.
Yeah.
Or like no lights to actually provide that. Which and it's all foggy for some reason. No reason for it other than it looks cool in an 80s kind of way. The movie is just full of those types of cliches. Super fun, has stood the test of time within a certain community for sure. And definitely worth a poke if you just want to have some fun with an old 80s genre movie that you probably haven't seen before. But really the only reason I think this wasn't a big deal here in the United States is it just wasn't on our rental shelves. It's an Australian movie. It's never made it over here really in any real way until the internet. Go ahead.
If I was a kid and I was in the video store and I saw this VHS cover, I would totally want to rent this movie because that poster is awesome.
The poster is the movie. So like, if you liked that, you will probably like the movie. It's pretty awesome. I have no idea what Letterboxd thinks of it, but I'm assuming the ones that bother to watch it like it.
It has 15 fans.
Nice. Almost as much as Local Hero.
Yeah. Right?
I might have Local Hero on Criterion.
Oh, really?
I just haven't
It's a
seen
Criterion?
it. I'm pretty sure.
That's funny.
Who's next?
All right. I'm next with number 8. And there's definitely a grouping of Zach versus James. So that's a good, I think, maybe how Zach movies have a different effect on me than James movies. All right. So my number 8.
I don't claim these movies.
No. Zach character movies. Not, yeah. When I say Zach movies, I mean the character, not
right.
You. Yes. All right. My number 8, the character's name is Zach Mooneyham. And to give you a hint, this character plays bass. And this movie came out in 2003.
I like it the other way better. Like, give us the title and let us guess whose name is in it, because there's no chance we're ever going to guess any of these.
All right, fair.
Right, fair. Zach? Are we ever going to guess any of these?
Zach just guessed School of Rock.
Okay.
And he's correct.
Oh, well, forget it then. Just keep doing what you're doing. I'm never going to guess it.
They're going to get easier maybe when we move away from one name into another name.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, breakout movie for Jack Black, probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, sure. I think High Fidelity was the first time I heard his name and was like, "Oh, that guy's funny." And then I don't know how many years later, but it felt like right behind it was School of Rock, and then it was like, "Oh yeah, Jack Black is my guy," type of thing.
It was a 1-2 punch. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'll say I knew of Jack Black from the Mr. Show days. But it was cool to see on this obscure HBO sketch comedy show, people like start popping up in movies like Jack Black.
I discovered Mr. Show because of Jack Black.
Like, really? Oh, okay.
Because of him being in movies. Yeah.
Oh, nice. All right. This movie, I've only seen the one time. I really liked it when I saw it though. It's Richard Linklater, who I think is a great director. Jack Black plays a substitute teacher who's like trying to form a band with his class.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Jack Black. I mean, he's essentially playing himself, right? Like he's not playing a character. He's playing Jack Black. And there's a ton of really good music in this movie, and especially good like metal and prog rock and a lot of stuff that I like to listen to was sprinkled throughout this movie. There's even some like obscure Metallica songs from like their Garage Days cover album, which, you know, I don't think those ever pop up in movie soundtracks, but this movie will pull it off. So definitely a movie I want to see again for all those reasons, but a movie that I did like quite a bit when it came out.
Nice.
Quite a
I
bit
saw
refers
a
to a
School of Rock.
significant amount.
Thanks, James. I saw a School of Rock concert when I was in Utah.
Ooh.
Oh, what? Okay, tell me more.
What does that mean?
It appeared to be local high school kids that formed bands and played live music.
Oh yeah, I've seen similar things. So they have like rock camp.
Yeah, but it was called specifically School of
They
Rock.
call it School of Rock, and they're not playing original songs; they're playing covers, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you hear? What did you see?
Yeah. There is rock music. I don't know.
Did you recognize any of the songs?
No.
Okay,
no.
okay.
Although I recognized the bands that they were covering.
But not
They were-
the song. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was music that I just would never have listened to.
what were
like
the
what
bands?
bands? Yeah.
Remember?
I'm
of them?
having a hard time remembering them right now. But who's like in the same conversation as like Grateful Dead? Like those
Rolling
kind of bands.
Stones?
No.
The Who?
Fish?
No.
Grateful Dead's kind of a unique band. Like,
Perhaps it was Grateful Dead then. It was just like
Crosby, Stills, and Nash?
no.
Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young.
No. This is definitely like rock music.
Like
Creedence Clearwater
Yeah,
Revival?
Creedence Clearwater Revival.
No,
I was
no,
thinking.
yeah. Anyways, enough of this. But
No, I really want to know what other bands Zach thinks.
Who's
are
the
like
devil
Grateful
went
Dead.
down to Georgia guy?
Charlie Daniels.
Yeah, Charlie Daniels.
no. Okay. Let's see if we can do this.
Aerosmith?
No. They said someone's name.
These were high school students?
Yeah. Who's I'm a Joker, I'm a Toker, I'm a bin. Who's that guy?
No, they said
Steve
someone's
Miller.
name.
Not Steve
No.
Miller.
They said someone's name, and then someone's like, "Oh yeah, it's them," but they only repeated half of the name, and it was the more important half. Like, so this person could either be known as the full name or half the name.
The Mamas?
Like John Mellencamp.
No, but it was a band, not a man.
The
Oh, so it could okay.
The Mamas and the Papas?
No, James. No, they're not playing the Mamas and the Papas at School of Rock.
Judas Priest.
Yeah, something like that, but not obviously Judas Priest, because you wouldn't say, "Yeah, Judas." You know, like the band. You wouldn't call the band Judas.
Twisted Sister?
No, you wouldn't call. Again, what are you going to call them? The Sisters?
I mean,
No.
that's why I feel like the Stones would make sense because you could call them the Stones.
Yeah.
And people know what you mean.
It's like that.
Okay.
I'm looking it up.
Zach's encyclopedic knowledge of music.
The
helps us
Who.
once again.
You know, no bands like the Guns N' Roses. It's
the
in
Guns
that,
N' Roses.
Led Zeppelin?
It's in that genre. Yeah, it's in that genre.
The Black Keys?
No, not the Black Keys. Maybe Black Sabbath.
The Ramones?
No. James,
Stevie Nicks?
no.
Zach, what's a shortening for Guns N'
AC/DC.
Roses that people
Like
would
AC/DC.
recognize?
What's that?
Like I'm pretty sure people say maybe they say
Kiss.
GNR, but no one
Kiss.
says like, oh yeah, Roses. I know them.
Was it Kiss?
Oh, no. I'm saying it's in the same like type of music as Guns N' Roses
Oh, okay.
and I don't know what, like Black Sabbath.
Well, that's like two different decades.
If we were
Make
to
up your
say it
mind
out
here.
loud, would you even know that's the movie or that's the title you're thinking
Yeah.
of?
Yeah.
Motley Crue.
No.
We've named every rock band at this point, Zach.
That is absolutely not true.
Pretty close to it. Every one that I can think of that would be in School of Rock.
Yeah. So
right.
there you go.
No,
Okay.
you can't like hum the tune or anything.
Oh, I mean, I would no.
Okay.
No,
No,
I
he can't hum the tube. He just chooses not to.
I don't remember who they were playing, but it was.
How did we get
not
on
really
this?
not really my scene.
Oh,
Because
you-
we're talking about School of Rock.
Right.
Yeah.
School of Rock. All right. Do you guys want to know my number 8?
Mhm.
Yes.
It is called Central Station from 1998, directed by Walter Salles.
I know
Um,
nothing of this movie.
Yep, I had never heard of this movie either. It is an emotional journey of a former school teacher who writes letters for illiterate people and a young boy whose mother has just died as they search for the father he never knew.
Holy crap. The star rating on Letterboxd is insane on this one.
It has 8.1 thousand fans and a total 4.3 stars as their average score. And by far, they are almost all 5-star ratings with 127,000 watches.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like if you see the movie, you
love it,
fall on the floor in love with it, is the impression that Letterboxd gives. It has 60,000 5-star ratings. That's 60% of the ratings.
Yeah, I'm into it. Directed by the same guy who directed Dark Water, which is the only movie of his I've seen. And I gave that movie 1.5 stars.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Motorcycle Diaries has been on my list for a long time, though.
Yeah. Someone in the review said, how can Gwyneth Paltrow sleep at night knowing she stole this woman's Oscar?
Interesting.
And I'm sure
for Shakespeare in Love, probably.
Yeah, I'm sure she sleeps just fine. So, yeah, and I think it's a Brazilian film. And it's only an hour and 13.
It looks to be in listener Ryan, who I think goes by Plexi, correct?
Mm-hmm.
It's in his top 600.
Nice.
Yeah.
Similar films would be like Lion, Pay It Forward, Into the Wild, Tree of Life, and Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close.
So emotionally manipulative movies that are fun as long as you know what you're getting into.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm into all that. I've marked this. I'm getting a good little watch list off your list.
Right? Yeah.
Zach.
And I'm finding movies to avoid.
I bet you'd like this.
I don't know. It's really giving me what's that movie about the shoes?
Oh,
that was so good.
Oh my
Children of
God.
Heaven.
Yeah, Children of Heaven.
Yeah, that was good.
That movie was amazing.
It was all right.
I love it.
James, what do you want to talk about?
Sure. Well, for the record, Local Hero is on Criterion, and no, I do not own it, but there is a release. So,
Okay,
if you need to get it, it's out there. My number 8th most movie I would like to talk about, but I never get to talk about. And now that I'm talking about these movies, I feel like these movies, why they never come up is because they're not like top 600 material, but they're also not the worst movies you've ever seen. They're somewhere in the middle, but the middle plus, because all of them have like an element or two that elevates them above the other middle.
Yeah.
But it's not enough to like fully put it into like classic category for me. So that's why I never get to talk about these. Anyway, my number 8 is Roar from 1981. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Maybe Zach's seen it. This movie is build an adventure comedy film, but there's really not much funny about this movie, but it is fun in like a jaw-dropping kind of way. So the premise of this movie is this guy has a lion preserve. He lives in Africa and he's trying to save all the lions from a poacher. And so he has invited all the lions to live with him. And over the course of the movie, not only is he fighting a comically evil poacher, but he also has flown his family out to come live with him on the cat ranch with all these lions and tigers and pumas and any other kind of cat you can think of that might be in Africa, whether it makes sense or not. What's crazy about this movie is the director is also the main actor, and it's the only movie he ever directed or starred in. It took him 11 years to make the movie, 5 years in production. And when you watch it, it's literally people walking around with large exotic cats acting without really any training to the cats or the people in any real way. Like the reason why it took 5 years is because the actors, the director literally married to Tippi Hedren, who's a famous actress, at the time. They lived with the cats in order to get comfortable with them. And then when they shot the movie, they essentially shot the cats being cats, like fighting each other and roaring at each other and like roughhousing. And then they intercut that with like them interacting with the cats. And they just had to wait long periods of time for the lions to do what they wanted them to do because they were untrained. But it also meant that the lions were totally comfortable just like tackling one of them out of nowhere and just wrestling them to the ground and playing rough with them. And so there's tons of footage of borderline animal attacks in this movie where the actors are trying to act while a giant beast is wrestling them to the ground. It's nuts. And when I say like cats, you're probably imagining like a couple cats, maybe 2, maybe 3, enough so that like the 10 handlers behind the camera can like keep some kind of level of control. That is not what it is. The cats outnumbered the people like 10-1 on the set. And they just ran roughshod while the production tried to film in between the chaos of the cats. It's a wild, wild movie that barely has a plot and only exists as an oddity. But it's one of those movies that you kind of have to see what people will do to make a movie that they're really passionate about that is absolutely insane. Like, it's insane that nobody died during the production of this. You will watch it and think, like, the accidents we've heard of with stuntmen today are like, I don't want to say nothing because I don't want to trivialize it, but it's amazing that did not happen to this, essentially.
I'm going to read a short review. It says, the most reckless filmmaking I've ever seen. A production that has more plot than the actual movie. 71 lions and 26 tigers. 14 of them died, but not before hospitalizing 2/3 of the crew.
Right. Yeah, it's insane. Like all the actors in it, one of the trainers or like lion wranglers, if you knew how to be around lions and you weren't scared of them, you were in the movie, whether you were an actor or not, essentially. And there's a shot towards the beginning where he's trying to get these 2 lions to stop fighting. This is the director who has never been around lions before 5 years from them filming this. So he's not like a lion tamer or whatever. He's like just comfortable with these lions. He's trying to separate them. And then one of them turns on him and you can see like a look of sheer terror in his face. Like he is not acting at that point. And the lion swipes at him and you can see blood start gushing out of his hand. And from that scene on, he has his hand wrapped through like, maybe not throughout the rest of the movie, but for like the next 10, 15 minutes, he has his hand wrapped and they never fully explain it or act like he got attacked by that lion. They act like he separated the fighting. Anyway, it exists as an oddity. I'm not stumping for it as a good story or a good movie or even good production, just an amazing train wreck to watch, basically.
Have you watched the 2004 The Making of Roar?
No. Is there a documentary?
Yeah.
Is it online?
I don't know.
Is it like a full-length documentary?
I don't. It's 33 minutes.
Gotcha. Noel Marshall, the director, writer, main actor, produced The Exorcist and used his Exorcist money to make this movie. Tippi Hedren and him got divorced right after wrap of the shoot. She was not into it. And the movie stars Melanie Griffith, a very young Melanie Griffith.
Tippi Hedren's her mom.
Yep. And it's wild to see Melanie Griffith like on the ground being tackled by full-size lions.
Yeah. Every single review that I'm scrolling through is essentially like, I can't believe that they made this. You have to see this.
Right. That's the kind of movie it is.
Right.
But also there's really no value to it other than jaw dropping. I can't believe they made this. It's not very good beyond that. So my number 8.
All right. For my number 7, you're not going to guess the movie based on the character. So I will have you guess, is this a Zach movie or a James movie? character name, not that you like it. 1990s Kindergarten Cop.
Zach.
Feature a Zach or a James?
It's a Zach movie.
I think it's a Zach.
Yes, you're correct.
Yeah.
There is one of the kids in the class is called Zach Sullivan. And if you remember, he's the kid who's being beaten by his dad.
Right.
So, yep.
Does
Or Zach
Arnold beat
Sullivan.
up his dad or just threaten him? I don't remember.
Arnold threatens. I think he punches the dad. He roughs him up outside the school.
Sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a roughing. And then he gets dressed down by the principal, who's great. This tiny woman who's like commands a room. I can't think of her name right now. And then she was like, after she dresses him down, she's like, what did it feel like to punch him? You could tell that she
Right.
had wanted to punch this guy for a long time.
I got to watch Kindergarten Cop again. It's been way too long.
I think it holds up pretty well. We've watched it a couple times this year already. Galen is really into it.
Okay.
Well, like because he wants to watch like Arnold movies, and like he can't watch Terminator and Predator and things like that. So this is one where I'm like, I think this is an Arnold movie you can watch.
Mhm.
And it starts off like a kind of cheesy Arnold movie where he's like stalking the bad guy through a mall. He's wearing the trench coat, the sunglasses, the music's all really tense. There's like a small shoot off
Mhm.
or shootout. And then it transitions quickly into now he has to be a kindergarten teacher to go undercover. And then it becomes, a much lighter, funnier movie.
Sure.
And it kind of ends like on the action-y side too, with the fire alarms going off and the shootout in the changing room and everything, the
Mhm.
showers. So like it's definitely bookended with like Arnold action that's appropriate for not young kids, but I would say, for children for the most part. And then but the middle you get all of like your fun Arnold trying to be a kindergarten teacher with these adorable kids.
Is Kindergarten Cop Arnold's best comedy?
His best comedy. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen Twins, so I don't know if that's a good comedy.
You haven't
or
seen
not.
Twins?
I haven't seen Twins. No.
Oh, Twins is great.
Twins is like, if you're going to have this fight, it's between Twins and Kindergarten Cop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, since I have not seen Twins, I feel like I cannot weigh in on this fight.
All
I
right.
like Kindergarten Cop better than Twins.
Me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also like Kindergarten Cop better than Twins.
Good.
Nice.
We're
All right,
We're all in unison.
guys, my number 7.
That's a bingo.
This movie pops up everywhere I go. I cannot escape this movie. It is Mr. Nobody from 2009.
Oh, this was on the podcast recently.
Wasn't this on your
Zach was talking
last
about
list
this.
of movies that you're being recommended somewhere? Or?
This was September movies.
right.
Right.
Movies released
Yeah.
in September. This is a Jared Leto, Sarah Polley film that just anytime it's a list of like hidden gem movies that you should see, this is always on it, Mr. Nobody. And I don't know, man. I don't like Jared Leto in things, but I do like things that Jared Leto's in, if that works. And then I think this one is trippy and like surreal and like futuristic and stuff. The similar films are Time Traveler's Wife, Vanilla Sky, Butterfly Effect, The Fountain, Donnie Darko, and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah.
So,
Having seen all of those movies,
right.
all of those are way better than Mr. Nobody.
Have you seen Mr. Nobody?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have. I don't remember what I gave it, but
Yeah.
Zach, let's make a pact.
Okay.
Because this movie always pops up on like, you should watch it because I like a lot of sci-fi movies, like a lot of those movies in the similar lists. Before our next top 10, last 10, let's both watch Mr. Nobody.
I can do that.
And then we could do like a mini review as part of our top 10, last 10.
we went over this
Okay.
the last time this came up. Do you want me to read
Yeah,
my
like 2
Letterboxd
episodes
review
ago.
again?
Sure.
It's pretty short. I gave it 1 star. I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to like this, but I can't. Yes, I get it. I understand what Leto and company are selling here. I'm just ain't buying it. Plays like a pretentious cloud atlas, if you can imagine that. You remember that?
Yeah, I
Yes.
remember that.
I remember this word for word now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I stand by
All right.
it.
Well, I'm officially putting it back on my watch list. I think I took it off at one point.
Every movie gets someone's watch list, which is great.
Yeah.
Zach?
That was me.
Oh, that was you. Sorry. Me. my 7th most movie I never get to talk about, so I'm going to do it now, is Chopping Mall from 1980. So lots of genre,
Yeah, you're very genre list you have.
cult film type movies for sure. So Chopping Mall, horror movie set in the 80s in a mall. The mall has replaced their human security guards with a robot. A robot that kind of looks like an oversized R2-D2, like halfway between the robot from Doctor Who and R2-D2 maybe. And this robot is supposed to like keep the peace, but like in a peaceful way. But little do they know, when the teenagers sneak into the mall and try to stay there after closing, the robot becomes possessed and tracks down the young teenagers one by one, murdering them as they try to run around the mall and escape because all the doors are locked so they can't get out. It's a very stupid, silly horror movie that definitely took itself seriously at the time. Like, the people who made this movie were trying to make a scary horror movie that comments on consumerism and mall culture and the 80s kind of vapidness and stuff like that. Like they were murdering the teenagers literally at the mall type of thing.
Yeah.
And instead they made a very campy, silly horror film cult classic that you can watch and have fun with and really will not scare you at all. It's not scary one bit at all, for sure. I mean, maybe if you were a young person, meaning like 14 and under, this might give you some frights. But if you have any maturity at all, you will laugh off this movie in the best kind of way. My number 7, Chopping Mall. Check it out.
I've definitely heard podcasts about this movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's really fun. It's a fun watch.
I'm not going to rush out to see it, completely honest. But Zach,
That's fine.
add it to your list.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, for my number 6, again, I'll give you the movie, and you tell me if this is a Zach or James named charactered movie. 2000's Best in Show.
James.
Yeah, I'm going to go with me.
You're both wrong. There is a character in this movie called Zach Berman. He's a little kid. I don't know what he does, and all I know is his dad is played by the guy who plays the dad from Clueless.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this was the stretch I had to take to round out 5 Zach movies. But Best in Show, my second favorite of the mockumentaries done by Christopher Guest. I'm sure, assume both of you guys have seen this movie.
Oh yeah, Best in Show.
Yeah,
I don't think I've seen it.
You haven't
You've
seen
never
Best in
seen
Show?
the dog mockumentary?
I might have seen on TV like a part of it once.
Oh, this. Do you like? I mean, have you seen the other Christopher Guest mockumentaries?
The ones I've seen, I didn't really like them.
You don't care for them. Okay, what don't you like about them?
I don't
curious.
like. Who's the guy with Eugene Levy? Is that
Eugene
his name?
Levy? Yeah,
I don't like him very much.
Really?
I don't think he's that funny. And then who's the girl, the woman from Home Alone?
Catherine what's her name? Catherine O'Hara.
I don't find her like improv very funny.
I am
Okay.
like genuinely shocked by this conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been talking to Zach on a weekly basis about movies for 9+ years, and I didn't know that you don't like Christopher Guest mockumentaries.
Yeah,
I feel like you like them and you've changed your mind.
I don't think so. Let me see if I've marked any as watched and what I gave it.
Yeah, I'm curious.
That's
'cause
crazy.
For me, this is I like them. This is probably my second favorite one. Spinal Tap is a top 100.
Yeah,
I mean, I love
Spinal
Spinal
Tap.
Tap.
Okay, yeah.
No, yeah,
That's-
I absolutely love Spinal Tap.
Probably why I
Okay.
think you like Christopher Guest movies is because
Like,
For
have you
sure.
seen-
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen like Waiting for Guffman or
Yeah. So what he did was the Spinal Tap I love, right?
Yeah.
I think of that as a Carl Reiner movie. I don't know why I think of it as Carl Reiner movie.
Or a Rob Reiner movie.
Rob
maybe?
Reiner, that's what I
okay.
mean.
Yeah.
Rob Reiner.
Well, I mean,
Why
because
do I
Rob
think of-
Reiner, Rob Reiner plays the fictional director of that movie, so that's why.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Sure. But for all his other movies, he like kind of settled on this one cast with like Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara and everything. That I just don't find very funny.
What about like Jennifer Coolidge and
Parker
Jane
Posey.
Lynch, Michael McKean, yeah, Fred Willard, who like half these people are in Spinal Tap. They're just not the. I mean, Michael McKean is in the band, Christopher Guest is in the band, and then good old Harry Shearer, who's not in this movie, I don't think.
And if you have already made your mind up about Christopher Guest but haven't seen Best in Show, then you haven't seen like Best in Show is my favorite movie of his for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of people's favorite Christopher Guest movie.
Right,
Yeah.
even over Spinal Tap. Zach's taking it all in.
Is he still searching for
I don't know
Christopher
what he's
Guest
doing.
movies?
Okay, so there's 4 movies that I think of when I think of Christopher Guest.
Okay.
A Mighty Wind,
Yep.
Mhm.
For Your Consideration, Waiting for Guffman, and Best in Show.
You don't think of Spinal Tap, you think of Christopher Guest.
Right. I think of Rob Reiner, apparently. And I haven't seen any of those movies.
You didn't see any of those movies.
I would say
I think-
start with
I
Best
think
in Show.
I've probably seen parts of them on TV or something like that.
Best in Show and Waiting for Guffman are worth seeing. And if you like them, then you could go Mighty Winds and For Your Consideration, which I think are weaker of the two.
Okay, just for the record, because again, I thought this, but you guys are so confident. This is Spinal Tap is directed by Rob Reiner.
It's really.
Is it written by Christopher Guest?
It is so just officially directed by Rob Reiner. It is written by Rob Reiner, Christopher Guest, Michael McKean, and Harry Shearer.
Okay.
Well, obviously it's improv. You know what I mean?
Right,
So like
yeah.
the writers are the improvers, and he's one of the bandmates.
I always consider a Christopher Guest movie, but I guess we're wrong, Kyle.
Yeah.
so it is
no?
a Rob Reiner film.
Okay. Good to know.
Between this and The Notebook, I feel shame this episode.
How can we call ourselves nerds?
Now
Well,
Rob
Zach-
Reiner is great. I love Rob Reiner. Princess Bride,
And
A Few Good Men. When
also,
Harry Met
you've never
Sally.
Misery.
you've never seen a Christopher Guest movie, evidently.
Yeah, I've never seen a Christopher Guest movie.
You've
All right,
seen
well-
clips. You've seen concepts of a Christopher Guest movie. Yeah.
I feel like I must have seen, scenes on TV or something like. Because I feel like I'm very well aware of like how they go.
Well, yeah,
Kyle,
this
tell
movie
him
came out
why.
in 2000. So
Tell him why
Okay.
you can't watch a Christopher Guest movie in clips and get the same effect.
it's because like yes, it's improv, but they're always these multi-cast improvs. So you're jumping from group to group, and they each have their own separate story throughout, like most movies are. So like you could see a clip and be like, oh, that's a funny moment from that couple right there. But they have a complete story, and usually they build upon each other. So like, for example, Parker Posey and her husband, I can't remember who the actor is, but you recognize his face. They're obsessed with their dog. They're these obsessive dog owners at this dog show, and it needs to have a specific dog toy. And they lose the specific dog toy, and they spend the entire movie just trying to track down a dog, like the dog toy that they need. Kind of almost like, my child has lost its favorite stuffed animal.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone, people are like, it's a dog. It doesn't care if it looks like a bumblebee or a tiger. Like if it needs stripes and squeaks, they're like, no, it has to be the blah, blah, bee. And you're just watching them through the whole time, like just go insane over trying to find the most inane dog toy.
Right. And Kyle's not selling it very well, but
It's hilarious.
the point is that, like, if you watched a documentary, right? And from beginning to end, it tells a complete story. And then you watch a different documentary and you see 1 5-minute clip of it. Would you say you've seen the documentary? You've seen the best that documentary has to offer? No, you got 1 5-minute clip from it. That's how these mockumentaries work too. Like, it's not a highlight reel where 5 minutes is all you really need to see. You have to see the whole thing to even care about what those characters are saying, basically.
And like there are heroes and villains. Like it's not, you do root for people in this movie.
Right.
Like there are, even though it's a mockumentary, there are still stakes to this dog show and people who you want to see succeed and other people who are like, I hope they fail so bad in this dog show.
Absolutely. It's like really heartwarming, I would say.
And it's really funny.
Right. Best of show is
Best in show.
Best in show is my 392nd favorite movie of all time, Zach.
Nice.
Plus, Zach, if you pay really close attention, you may see Zach Berman. The character, not the actor. I'm not sure who plays him.
Nice.
Spinal Tap isn't even on my top 600.
Oh,
You're not selling Best in Show to me then.
Best in show is high. I'm telling you, you'll like Best in show.
No, this from a guy that doesn't like Spinal Tap.
I like Spinal Tap as much as I like Razorback and Chopping Mall and all these other ones. They're good movies. They're just not top 600 material.
hey guys, really quickly, can I get the trophy for the actor who played Zach Berman in Best in Show?
What did he
If
do?
you wanna
One
attempt
movie?
it.
Yeah, can I attempt it right now? His name is Cody Gregg.
Yeah, I'm not making you a
I gotta
graphic
pull up-
if it's one movie, though.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just say Best in Show 2000.
Perfect.
Please, I'm ready for my trophy.
Honestly, Zach,
What trophy is it?
This is the Cody Gregg complete filmography.
you need to watch Best in Show. I think you would genuinely love it.
I don't think he's gonna love it. That's a strong. I think will like it. I think it'll change Zach's mind on Christopher Guest movies. I think Zach has an idea of what a Christopher Guest movie is, having never seen one.
Forget about his mind. It will change your life, Zach. And it's super,
All right, Zach.
super easy to watch, in my opinion.
Okay.
The Hollywood one too, for your consideration, I think is what it's called. That one's good too because
not as strong.
It's not as strong, but it skewers Hollywood, which is fun.
Right, and you get a lot of Catherine O'Hara in that one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I just don't find her that funny. I don't know.
Well, you haven't seen her in Best in Show or For Your Consideration,
Or
I
Waiting
must
for
have,
Guffman, or A Mighty Wind,
or really like
There's
the movies she's most known for, maybe.
Here's
Short
the
of
thing. Oh,
Beetlejuice.
Short of
I haven't
Beetlejuice.
seen Beetlejuice.
You've never
I haven't
seen a
seen
good
Beetlejuice.
Catherine O'Hara movie, basically.
I've seen
Well,
Home Alone.
He's seen Home Alone, but she's kind of playing it straight in that.
Barely in that.
Here's what I'm guessing is. I'm guessing I've probably seen most of Best in Show because I do have like a solid opinion on Catherine O'Hara's improv comedy styling. So where did that come from, right? So I think I have seen most of Best in Show.
Well, I want you to see all of Best in Show,
Sure, I'm willing to watch it again.
please. Again, for the first time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. My number 6 recommended movie, according to my interest by Letterboxd, is called The Razor's Edge from 1984.
I've heard of this.
Perhaps you've heard of it because it is a Bill Murray World War I film.
Yeah.
It's directed by John Byram, who did nothing else you've heard of. And it stars Bill Murray in a period piece where he goes, he's a World War I vet. He undertakes a spiritual quest that takes him from Paris to Nepal to the Himalayas and back to his hometown. And upon his return, he discovers he's not the only one who has changed. And it has a 3.2 on Letterboxd. So actually a pretty low score, I would say.
Yeah.
And the similar films are films like Forrest Gump and Intouchables. So yeah, I don't know. I have no idea why it recommended this film to me, but it's my number 6 most recommended. What do you guys think of The Razor's Edge?
So, did Bill Murray have a period early in his career where he was trying to be a serious actor? Because this seems like a straight drama. I doubt he's doing a bit in this movie.
Over the course of his career, he's had a couple where he would just kind of randomly do a drama.
Okay.
I don't think there was a moment where he was focused on being a dramatic actor, but I think
Right.
occasionally some director would get in his ear and he'd be like, yeah, I'm doing that. And it wouldn't make any sense to anybody, but he would do it anyway.
Yeah, like he did Hamlet in '99 with Ethan Hawke or 2000, and it was super weird to see Bill Murray doing Hamlet.
Yeah, he did that like Hide at Hudson Park or something like that, like a upstairs downstairs British film or something like that. I don't remember.
Gosford Park.
It wasn't that, but
Oh, okay.
Yes.
It's similar. Okay.
yeah, he just and like Lost in Translation. That's a dramatic role with comedic elements.
True. Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of them on here, but
guess he dips his toe every so often.
right.
Yeah, Zach, I think you should watch this. Just to see what like a straight Bill Murray drama would be like.
Broken Flowers. Have you ever seen Broken Flowers? He's really good in that. Yeah, he's got dramas mixed in here and there. Most of them are not good, but yeah, Hyde Park on the Hudson is another dramatic role. If you look at his movies by popularity, all the dramas are towards the bottom. Because nobody gives a crap about his dramas, evidently. You're going to have to watch that one, Zach, and let me know if I need to see it.
All right. Will do.
All right. My sixth most movie I want to talk about, but I never get to, so I'm going to do it now, is Bird on a Wire from 1990. Have either of you guys seen Bird on a Wire starring Mel Gibson and Goldie Hawn?
No.
This is like
Haven't seen it.
one of Mel Gibson's forgotten action films from the early 90s. Goldie Hawn plays a woman who is traveling for business, I think, and she lands in an airport, and she's at like an airport bar, and she recognizes a guy at the counter as her ex-boyfriend from like 20 years ago, and he denies being that person, and she's like, I know it's you, and he's like, it's not me, lady, get away from me. So she just can't get it out of her head, so she follows him and accidentally stumbles upon him being attacked, and then finds out that he's in the witness protection program, and it was really her old ex-boyfriend, but he was denying it because he's in the witness protection program. And she gets confused by the bad guys as being a part of the issue. And so now they're both on the run from the people who want to kill him. They think she's associated with him, and so she's being attacked too. And so it's an action movie with Mel Gibson and Goldie Hawn running around being chased by bad guys. Meanwhile, DEA agents are also trying to catch up with them to help them survive being attacked by the bad guys. And I didn't think this movie was that controversial, but in refreshing my memory about it, I read lots of negative things about this movie on Letterboxd, and I was like, man, I watched this movie probably 10 times as a kid, and I really enjoy Bird on a Wire. Especially the final shootout scene, like the tense shootout scene, takes place in a zoo, speaking of lions. And so they're going from like indoor zoo exhibit to indoor zoo exhibit, kind of cat and mousing each other, hit between Goldie Hawn and Mel Gibson and the bad guys. And they're accidentally dispatching the bad guys with the animals. Type of thing. Like at one point, a guy falls into a piranha lagoon and gets eaten by piranhas because, you know, lots of zoos have piranhas.
Have piranha lagoons.
Open piranha tanks.
And, and another one, like there's a scene where they're like suspended above a tiger cage or the tiger enclosure, and the bad guy falls into the tiger enclosure and gets eaten. Just lots of silliness like that. It's a fun movie. If you like Mel Gibson movies from the early 90s, like this is one of them, and it's lesser seen. And I really enjoy it. My number 6.
Can I tell you guys something about Goldie Hawn?
Yes, please.
I have never seen a Goldie Hawn movie.
Really?
You've never seen Joe versus the Volcano?
I have never seen, and that's not Goldie Hawn. That's
you're right.
Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan,
I haven't seen that one.
I get them confused.
I'm looking at her filmography right now on Letterboxd. I've watched 0 of 56.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why do you hate Goldie Hawn so much?
Well, I just think she was probably an actress who was doing stuff a little before my time. Like, you know, 80s was probably her heyday. And then I think she was just doing movies that weren't really marketed to me as a kid.
1990 was before you?
No. I'm just saying, but I don't think that movie was being marketed to like 7-year-olds.
Probably not.
She was in Death Becomes Her, which is how I first knew her.
Is that the one I should watch?
No. Well, actually, you might be interested in that one. It's
Okay.
people like are immortal but their bodies like don't really hold up.
It's very
they're
Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I hated it, but
Okay.
you might like it. And then House Sitter is a Steve Martin film that I remember her from.
House Sitter. Oh yeah, okay, I see her down there. She's also in The Out of Towners with Steve Martin.
You've never seen Overboard?
No, you can name Goldie Hawn movies and say you've never seen it. And the answer is correct. I've never seen it. I've never seen a Goldie Hawn movie.
You've never seen Snatched?
Nope. Correct.
You've never seen the Sugarland Express?
Is that James? I have never seen
going.
a Goldie
Keep
Hawn
going.
movie. You can name all 56 movies on Letterboxd, and the answer is I've never seen it.
You should see of all of them.
Okay.
And this is more for the historical record and the clout. You should see Sugarland Express. It's Steven Spielberg's second movie.
It's Spielberg. Okay.
Like it's not amazing, but it'll give you the roadmap. You know what I mean? Like it'll give you a historical context for like Duel and Sugarland Express, like how these things build into each other. How he got to Jaws basically that's the path. So you should
Sugarland's good.
Yeah. I mean,
All right.
it's not
That
an amazing
one has
movie,
been-
but it's passable.
That's been added. I will say, if anyone ever says name a Goldie Hawn movie, the first one that comes to mind is Private Benjamin. Never seen it, but I just always think of her in that movie.
I also have not seen that movie. Zach?
Haven't seen it.
He's like a precursor to G.I. Jane.
Okay.
I think it's like
I'm
G.I.
asking, I don't know.
It's like a comedy G.I. Jane.
Okay.
G.I. Jane was a serious movie, believe it or not.
Oh yeah, I saw it. It was very serious.
Yep. Serious enough to get
Viggo
slapped
Mortensen was
over.
not messing around.
Yep.
All right. So I think for my number 5, I can give you the character name, and hopefully you guys can get the movie.
Okay.
Try this one out. James Bond.
James.
No, I gave you the name. You gotta tell me the movie now.
Oh.
You want to just guess James Bond movies?
Yeah.
You're not
This
going to
is
give us
not
a
a good
year?
game.
At least give us a year.
Okay, fine. I'll give you a year. 1964.
No.
No.
Goldfinger.
Yeah, Goldfinger. Yeah.
Nice.
My favorite James Bond.
It's going to be
movie.
one of those.
Yes, correct. Yeah,
Jimmy
so
Bond.
my number 5 Zach James movie is Goldfinger with James Bond, the character. And this, I mean, I think a lot of people, this is their favorite James Bond movie. It's probably the best, critically of all the James Bond movies. This one has like all the tropes. When you think of James Bond, you think of the car, you think of the gadgets, you think of the bad guys, people doing kung fu. Odd Job is in this. There's lasers, like all the tropes that you think of when you think of James Bond are in Goldfinger. So I feel like this is a quintessential James Bond movie. Obviously, other movies have their other fun aspects to them and other things that are taken from. But when most people think of like what it makes a James Bond movie, they would think Goldfinger. And this movie is super fun. Have you seen it, Zach?
Of course.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't know what James Bond movies you guys have seen.
I think I've seen all of them.
All of them.
Probably.
Okay.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you exactly which one is which, but I'm pretty sure over my lifetime I've seen all of them.
Well, this one's got Odd Job. This one's got Fort Knox.
Mhm.
This one has a team of jiu-jitsu women. This one, I think, has the famous laser that's going to cut James Bond in half.
This has all the cliches.
And
All
all
the
the
James Bond
cliches are in
cliches,
this one.
yeah.
Exactly. Yep. And it is super fun. And I don't know. I think Pierce Brosnan, when I think of James Bond, I think of Pierce Brosnan just because, he was James Bond when I was a kid. But I do think that Sean Connery is my favorite James Bond.
No, I like what's his name? The recent one.
Daniel Craig.
Yeah. Probably more because of the filmmaking than his actual performance.
Yeah.
It's just so much better than those cheesy old action movies, which have a place. I like those. They're just not, they don't hit. Skyfall hits as a great movie. I don't think any of those old spy movies, James Bond spy movies, were great movies. They were fun.
It's not about the movie, it's about the character. And I agree with Kyle. Sean Connery is James Bond.
Also, I just have a hard time with Sean Connery at this point. Like the art versus artist type stuff. I have a hard time with Sean Connery.
What has he done? I mean, he's dead.
Pretty
for one
misogynistic.
Oh, yeah. Do we?
Oh, okay.
He didn't do anything publicly or admit to anything publicly that would completely wipe him off the thought planet, but he definitely made quotes in magazine interviews talking about beating women and being okay with that and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That bothered me. And then he was challenged on it years later and said, no, he stands by it. That's how you treat women when they're not doing what you want them to do. I was like, okay. It's one thing to be wrong. It's another thing to be belligerently wrong.
Right. To stand by your wrongness.
Right.
Well,
sure.
This weekend, we're going to a museum in Chicago that has a whole James Bond 007 exhibit. And we're taking Galen to it because he's really excited by it. And we were thinking like, oh, we should watch a James Bond movie with him before we go to this exhibit. And I was kind of like just reading through them and searching through them. Like, yeah, I don't feel comfortable showing him any James Bond movie right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just because it's mostly because of the treatment of women.
Those older ones they're not tough. It's just clearly there, and you'll have to like explain it.
Right. And it's just like a conversation I'm not ready to have right now. So we're like, oh, okay, maybe we'll just hold off. We'll go a little bit older. We'll do some James Bond.
Yeah.
Or like GoldenEye's got the main female villains into like BDSM. I'm like, I don't want to explain that. So
there's at least one movie too that's like kind of racist, I would say.
Oh, it's From Russia with Love.
Yeah.
He goes to the gypsy camp, and I think a lot of them are kind of racist. So
yeah, there's lots
not
of
a
like
lot of non-white people.
There's one that's
movies.
like about voodoo and stuff like that. That's like pretty racist too. There's a couple of them that have elements where you're just like, this would not float today for sure.
No.
But I mean, it is what it was at the time.
It is what it was, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And for what it was, I like Goldfinger.
Sure.
All right, guys, we're halfway through.
Nice.
My number 5 is called Interstate 60 from 2002.
Okay. I wonder if I'll have seen any of these.
I know, right? There's a chance you have. But it's Interstate 60 from 2002, directed by Bob Gale. Listen to this cast. It's James Marsden, Gary Oldman, Amy Smart, Christopher Lloyd, Chris Cooper, and Michael J. Fox.
Wow.
And Kurt Russell's in this? Kurt Russell, too.
Wow.
It's a road trip movie. It says, it began as a wish, became an adventure, and ended as the ultimate road trip. An aspiring painter meets various characters and learns valuable lessons while traveling across America.
Nice.
So I'm guessing it's kind of this episodic like comedy as they like go on this road trip in this red convertible and they meet different people. So the fact that Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox are in it makes me think that there's some sort of allusion to Back to the Future in it, Kyle, which might interest you.
Bob Gale wrote Back to the Future.
Bob Gale wrote it?
Yeah.
Okay, so he would have pull to bring them in. So my guess is there's a Back to the Future connection here.
Yeah. Let's see. Ray is Christopher Lloyd, and Michael J. Fox plays Mr. Baker.
Okay.
So I wonder. Yeah.
Again, I don't know why it recommended it to me. Similar films, it says, are Garden State and Elizabethtown. But yeah, I think it might be interesting.
It's free on Tubi right now with ads.
I could probably have it all. If I like left the podcast now and went and watched it, I could probably finish by the time we're done with our podcast.
Yeah. Who knew this would be a long episode?
What's the runtime?
Hour
116.
2
Not
hours.
bad. Less than 2.
Yeah. It's got 3.6, which is pretty impressive on Letterboxd.
I would watch this
comedy.
just to see all the young faces.
Right?
I'm into it. That's probably the one I'm most likely to watch of all the ones that you've talked about.
Nice. Yeah, so it's called Interstate 60.
Nice.
The poster looks atrocious.
It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see
It looks
Did you see the other movie Bob Gale directed? The poster for that?
Yeah, yes.
It looks really even worse. My number 5, my 5th most movie I want to talk about but never get to, so I'm going to do it now, is Thinner from 1996. Has either of you guys seen Thinner?
No, but I'm pretty familiar with this movie.
Okay. Well, without having seen it, you're very familiar with it.
It was again, I was like 13 when this movie came out. I remember it being marketed everywhere, and it was a movie where I was like, oh yeah, I'm a 13-year-old now. I can see a movie like this. Never
Sure.
actually saw it, but in my mind, I was like, I'm ready for this kind of movie.
It's based on a Stephen King novel.
Yep.
Directed by Tom Holland, not the Spider-Man Tom Holland, different Tom Holland. And this guy who's kind of a jerk is also overweight. He's like a big time lawyer, I think. Yeah. Like big clients, big cases, big money lawyer. And he's mean to everybody. And he's walking outside of the courthouse or his office or something. And speaking of gypsies, there's a woman there who definitely looks like a gypsy, who asks him for money, or something happens with her and they get into an altercation, and she grabs his arm and goes, "Thinner," like that to him. And he's like, "What's wrong with you?" Blah, 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 blah. Like kicks her out, whatever. And then he goes home, and over the course of the next couple days, he just starts losing weight. Like it's just falling off of him. No matter what he eats, he is losing weight. And at first he's like, this is amazing. Like, this is the one thing I couldn't control. You know what I mean? Like I never liked being overweight, and now I'm losing weight. I don't even have to do anything about it. I can eat all I want. I can lose weight. Well, of course, at some point he gets deathly thin, and it's no longer a fun thing to be this thin. And he's like in pain, and he's just trying to track down this woman to try to get her to reverse the curse, basically. And then there's a big twist at the end that I won't spoil for the people that want to check it out. And it's a great little, like, drama horror movie. It's like body horror, like The Fly. So there's nothing's going to jump out at you or scare you or anything like that. It's more like just a guy in a dilemma. Yeah, it's a tight little thriller that if you haven't checked it out, it's a fun night at the movies with Thinner.
So the guy in the screen grab looks like Robert Patrick, T-1000, but it's not Robert Patrick.
It's Robert John Burke, I believe.
Okay.
Who was RoboCop, or one of the RoboCops.
Oh, he must have been like RoboCop 3.
He was also in Rescue Me, that TV show, and Gossip Girl. And a bunch of other TV shows, mostly TV, I would say.
Well, he looks like Robert Patrick.
The makeup at the beginning of the movie when he's overweight is comically funny, I would say. Like unintentionally funny. And then for like a good 40% of the movie, he's like his normal weight, only a little up and a little down. And then towards the end, he's like practically a puppet, I would say. Because they've made him so crazy thin. Anyway, it's a good one. Check it out.
All right. For my number 4, tell me, is this a Zach or James movie? 2001's Monsters, Inc.
It's a Zach movie.
Zach.
No.
Okay.
So there's Mike Wazowski and Sully, but Sully's full name is James Sullivan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know what more to say about Monsters, Inc. Like, this is classic Pixar. This is Pixar at its best. This movie is so heartwarming and sweet, but also funny. It's Pixar I think it's their first time dabbling into, like, let's take a abstract concept and bureaucratize it, which they've done multiple times since then. But like, I think this is the first time they kind of went for that. Like, hey, let's do it this way. And it's a movie that my son was really into when he was younger. We watched this a ton of times, and I never got sick of watching Monsters, Inc. Every time it was funny. Every time it was sweet. And I could watch this movie endlessly.
Nice.
Very cool.
I love that movie too. It's a great one.
Yeah, we watched a lot of Monsters Inc. in my house. That is for sure.
But not
Does
Monster.
Jacob like it also?
Yeah.
All right, I should have chosen Monsters University. You're right, guys. I made a real mistake here.
Yeah, not Monsters University. You don't watch that one?
I've seen it once. It's really interesting. Like Monsters Inc. franchise was like some of the start of some of the best and the start of some of the worst from Pixar. Because like you got, again, like I said, these ideas of let's make a bureaucracy out of something, and then you have like a pointless sequel, prequel, whatever you want to call it, which does nothing whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it's like the two ends of the creative spectrum of Pixar.
I don't like Monsters University, but to be fair, I saw it once and maybe I'm missing something because I have heard like full-throated defenses of that movie. Like I know people that Monsters University ranks higher than Inc. for them. Like people that I respect their opinions.
I don't,
So,
I mean,
I probably
I wanna
should
say-
see it at least one more time before it's a definitive, like, no.
I don't think it's a bad movie. It just feels like an unnecessary movie. Like it really feels like a cash grab.
Aren't all sequels unnecessary?
I mean, no. Like you have Inside Out 2, which yes, Inside Out 2 has a cash grab element, but it also gave us something that built upon the original idea. Or your favorite, Terminator 2, right? Like not necessary, but built upon the concept.
As soon as I said that, what I meant was, aren't all Pixar sequels unnecessary?
Again, I'm going to say no.
I would say yes. I like
You thought
some
Inside
of them.
Out 2 was unnecessary.
I don't think any Pixar sequel I've seen has eclipsed the original.
Are movies necessary, James?
Yeah, movies are necessary. I'm fine with them making them. I just don't try to convince me that any movie in the Toy Story series is better than Toy Story 1. It's not.
Is that the definition of necessary?
Has to be
Better than the
better?
original?
Yeah. I mean, you can take it and build on it and not ruin it, which a good sequel will do. At even better than that is when you make it your own and make it even better. But I'm not sure any of them have done that.
Is Return of the Jedi unnecessary?
Return of the Jedi? Yeah, but Empire Strikes Back. Return of the Jedi is unnecessary. Empire Strikes Back is not.
Well, I'm not asking that about Empire Strikes Back. I'm asking about Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
So-
Return
so
of the Jedi is
should-
unnecessary.
So Star Wars should have been 2 movies, and then we're done. 2 movies and we're out.
I'm not saying should have. You asked me if it was
No.
unnecessary.
Wait. When you say unnecessary, that means it should not be around. If you don't need something, it means you don't need it. It shouldn't be there.
Right, but also I'm not mad that it is. It's unnecessary.
Well, which one is it, James?
I can be both. In order to experience the best of Star Wars, you don't have to have that third movie. It's nice because it finishes the story.
I really think you need that third movie.
I don't think you do.
Because it finishes the story. Because if not, you're left with this real downer where Luke's got no hands and the rebels are on their heels and the Empire seems to be winning.
You're talking about plot, though. I'm talking about like the execution of the movie.
Well, isn't the story the reason why you want to finish it?
I'm referring to the assembly of the movie.
Not the editing, just the assembly, though.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Well,
All right,
I'm
let's
referring
go
to my
on.
number 4.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
August Rush. This is maybe the most likely one you would have seen.
Oh, I've seen that. That's the biking movie.
No.
No?
No, this
No.
is
Joseph Gordon-Levitt riding a bike?
No.
That's Premium Rush.
Rush.
Premium Rush.
Okay.
This
That's a
seems
good
like,
movie.
this seems like a throwback, good old summer days movie. I've never seen this one.
This is a music movie, Kyle, so maybe you'd be into it. It is August Rush from 2007, directed by Kirsten Sheridan, starring Kerry Russell and Jonathan Rhys-Meyers and Terrence Howard and Robin Williams.
And
Freddie Highmore.
William Sadler.
So an incredible journey moving at the speed of sound. Lila and Lewis, a singer and musician, fall in love, but are soon compelled to separate. Lila is forced to give up her newborn, but unknown to her, he grows up to be a musical genius. So yeah, I've definitely heard about this movie before.
Yeah.
But I don't know specifically why it's recommended to me, but it's a movie I've meant to see because it's always kind of popped up in various places for me. But have you guys have any awareness of this film?
Nope.
No, I am scrolling through the reviews, and a lot of people, for better or for worse, say that the drama is very manufactured. It doesn't bother some people, but other people feel like it's trying a little too hard, which is in line with what was your other one you had? You had one very similar to that.
Central Station.
Yeah, Central Station.
One person said, I saw this movie on an airplane. I walked out.
That's a great review.
Yeah.
I would see this just for the cast. The cast is interesting.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to see Robin Williams in things I've never seen him before. Like I'll watch pretty much anything with Robin Williams in it if I've never seen it before, just because I miss the guy. So
100%. And Terrence Howard, I want to watch Terrence Howard act because I enjoy watching him say crazy things.
Yeah.
So you want to see if you can see that in him like 20 years ago?
I don't know. I'm into it.
I wonder how much this movie is like once.
It is one of the similar films.
Okay.
On Letterboxd.
So maybe
so
that's
is
why
Big Fish
and you love Big Fish and Tim Burton. So
what's so interesting is in these similar films, there's always usually one film that I really like and one film that I really don't like.
And you see Big Fish.
Yeah, and I do not like it.
Okay.
All right. My
2 stars.
My number 4 is Birthday Girl from 2001, which I think came up like an episode or so ago because I confused it with a different movie, and that reminded me of this movie. And now I really want to watch it again because I remember it being pretty fun. So it's kind of a trashy movie. It stars Nicole Kidman and Ben Chaplin. Ben Chaplin is a lonely dude in his maybe late 20s who mail orders a bride from Russia. And of course, Nicole Kidman shows up as this Russian mail order bride. This movie got made fun a lot of when it first came out because people just could not handle Nicole Kidman doing a Russian accent at all. They just could not take it. I think they rejected the entire movie because they couldn't handle Nicole Kidman with a Russian accent. Plus, I'm pretty sure she was like 10 years older than him at the time, but yet they made the characters the same age, which also I think put people off. And she was Tom Cruise's relatively new ex-wife at that point. Anyway, point is, she shows up. She's his mail order bride. He's a nervous, respectful guy who doesn't want to push her into anything, even though they're married. And in no time flat, her brother and cousin shows up, 2 other Russian immigrants, and they start pushing him to do illegal things. And he's like, can you please get your brother and cousin off my back? Because I like, what's going on here? Like, I just want a wife. This was not a part of the plan type of thing. And then at that point, he realizes that like he's being set up and like they're trying to milk him of all of his money and resources type of thing. And then I haven't given you too much because there's a lot I've left out. This movie is very twisty and you never really know who's on whose side, who's on whose team, whether it's a scam or not, whether she's genuine or not, those types of things. And Vincent Cassel's also in it. I found it to be twisty and fun. And I know the plot doesn't sound very fun, but like on Wikipedia, they describe it as an erotic comedy thriller. And I agree. Like the movie is genuinely funny at points just because it's kind of a comedy of errors at times. And generally a forgotten movie on everybody's filmography involved, I would say.
Yeah.
But one that was overlooked by people who didn't even see it, I would say. Because they just couldn't get over the casting and like maybe if they put Nicole Kidman in it but never had her say any lines, it would have gone over better because then people wouldn't have known until they walked in the theater that she was going to do a Russian accent. But anyway, check it out. Birthday Girl.
Well,
Nice.
James, you had me at erotic.
Okay. Have you ever seen an erotic comedy?
I maybe.
All right. Not that immediately comes to mind though.
Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. My number 3 favorite Zach/James movie is Logan from 2017.
James.
James.
I'm going with Zach.
James, what do you say? You're going Zach? It is James because everyone thinks that Wolverine's real name is Logan, but it's actually James Howlett.
Oh, I knew that.
Yeah. Or as we like to say, his Christian name.
Before you get into Logan, Zach,
Yes.
does it feel like a lot of these are James? I thought it was supposed to be 50-50.
Oh, it's
Yeah, we started with Zach's. Now we're James's. Mine's gonna be his favorite one.
Is that what it is? We're getting down
You
to the
think so?
top ones. Those
Yeah.
are going to all
You
be
think
Zach
so?
movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
interesting. You're
Yeah.
right. We were definitely heavy on the Zacks at the beginning. We're now on the James phase.
It's 50-50 though, right? There's 5.
Yeah, it's
James
5
and-
of each.
Okay. Yeah.
5 of each. Yep. So.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Logan's our movie I've talked a ton on this podcast. It is my favorite. Well, not my favorite superhero movie. My favorite Marvel movie, or Marvel adjacent, if you want to call them that whole franchise. I think that it is maybe the best representation of the Wolverine character on screen, just because in this case he is older and he's grizzled and his powers are slowing down, and he's matched with this younger version of himself who's like just the exact opposite. She's just full of energy and anger and hatred almost, where like Logan just seems to be kind of done with. He doesn't hate anyone. He just wants to check out from society. So you have this great dichotomy between the two. I really like Patrick Stewart as a aging Professor X in this one. The action is super on point, and it's I mean, I think you can call this movie a neo-western. It definitely feels like obviously they make a lot of allusions to westerns in the movie, but the whole movie itself is presented like, you know, we need to bring back the old sheriff one last time for one last mission.
Nice. Another one I need to rewatch. I saw it once in the theaters, and that was it. And I should have watched it pre Deadpool 3. Sure.
It's a movie that I watch probably every couple years.
Really?
Because I just really enjoy watching it. Yeah.
Nice. Every couple years since 2019?
2017.
2017. Okay.
Yeah, I think I have it logged at least 4 times.
Yeah, that's every couple years.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, my number 3 is a movie I've never heard of. It's called Henry Fool from 1997, directed by Hal Hartley.
I've heard of that movie.
Henry Fool. It says an honest man is always in trouble. An egocentric bum transforms the lives of a shy New Jersey garbage man and his sister. So it really doesn't give me a lot about what is going on there. But it stars Parker Posey, among other people.
The aforementioned.
Mhm.
Yes, the aforementioned Parker Posey. It's got a 3.7 on Letterboxd. And yeah, I really don't know anything about this movie, but the similar films, it says there's Truman Show, Punch Drunk Love, and Being John Malkovich.
Sounds awesome.
So yeah. So who knows what this is? But the late 90s was an interesting time for these kind of like small indie films.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, there's I like Parker Posey. I like James Urbaniak, I guess. But there's not much in here that I'm probably gonna motivate me to see it.
Right.
When I see these small movies have like a 3.7 on Letterboxd, you know, I mean, it's telling me not a ton of people are seeing these movies, like 6,000 ratings, but the people who are watching them are liking it.
Right.
So I don't know if that's selection bias or if it's like a movie like, hey, if you actually watch this movie, you'll probably end up liking it.
I think it's if you like these types of movies, you will like it. But if you don't like these types of movies, there's probably nothing here for you. And nor would you ever find this movie anyway.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
more people gave it 5 stars than gave it 2.5 or less.
Yeah.
Man, Hal Hartley has made a ton of these kinds of movies, and I have not seen a single one.
Yeah,
This doesn't seem like a movie you would stumble across.
no.
Not unless you're in those circles. For sure. All right, back to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
My third movie that I never get to talk about, but I'm going to do it right now, is from 2002. This movie is titled Dirty Pretty Things. Have you guys ever seen this movie or heard of it?
Definitely heard of it.
I haven't seen it.
Okay. Dirty Pretty Things stars Benedict Wong, who is Doctor Strange's not assistant, but the other guy that's in the that can do the circle time travel things.
Yep.
And Audrey Tautou. How do you say her name?
Audrey Tautou.
Yeah, from
Tattoo
from
sounds right.
Amelie. But in this movie, she's playing a Hungarian, and it also stars
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
who is the main character, I would say, and both Audrey Tautou's character and
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
are immigrants in London who
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
is there illegally, and he's on the run from his home country for reasons that you find out in the movie. Meanwhile, Audrey Tautou's character is from Hungary here on some kind of like asylum or something like that, meaning she can't work. So they're both working. One is there kind of legally in the country, and the other one is there completely illegally, but neither of them are supposed to be working. And so they're both working at this hotel. And while they're at this hotel, they figure out that something nefarious is happening at the hotel, and they have to like solve the mystery, kind of. And meanwhile, they are not necessarily falling in love, but there's like an attraction. They're getting to know each other. There's an attraction going on, kind of a guess who's coming to dinner type thing going on here. And if you like good dramas and you like Aubrey Tautou and you like
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
then you should definitely check out Dirty Pretty Things. It's a great drama that has a good twist at the end. And
Twisty.
and it plays kind of like a Soderbergh movie, like an early Soderbergh movie. It's grimy, it's indie movie, even though it's early 2000s. It's definitely like from that flow of films. Yeah, it's a good one. Check it out. Dirty Pretty Things.
Cool.
If you don't like the 4-letter R word in your movies, pass. Because that's definitely in here. Just a trigger
I
warning.
don't think I know the 4-letter R word.
Assault.
Ah, okay. That one. I thought like an actual word was being said.
No,
So I can't think of that word.
an act. It's all off screen, but it's
Yeah,
it's treated seriously and it's disturbing.
Right. All right. My number 2 favorite movie starring a character named James or Zach, or it's even just containing at this point. But this is definitely a major character in the movie. Goodfellas from 1990. Is this a James or a Zach?
I believe we both like
James.
it, but I'd say we got to come back around to the Zachs. I'm saying Zach.
Nope, this is also a
Ah!
James. Robert De Niro plays James Jimmy Conway. And yeah, again, I mean, what to say about Goodfellas? It's Goodfellas. Like, this is Scorsese's masterpiece. This is, in my opinion, his best movie. And incredible performances from the entire cast, including De Niro, Ray Liotta, and Pesci. This movie is amazing. I do remember watching this with Megan a couple of years ago. It was her first time seeing it. And we got to the end. And I was like, isn't that amazing? And she just said, yeah, it was all right. It was like the most, middling response to a Scorsese film.
How'd you feel about that?
I felt fine that she just was willing to watch a older movie with me that I liked. So cool.
There was a TikTok trend going around that like bled onto the other social medias with young ladies listing off the movies that every boyfriend they've ever had loves. And
Oh,
Goodfellas is on the list. Goodfellas and any Quentin Tarantino movie, they're like movies that, according to these ladies on TikTok, they don't give a crap about, but every dude they know loves these movies. And so they watch them with them.
I feel like if you were a dude in the 90s, like movies like Goodfella and Tarantino, they're formative movies.
Sure. Well, I think those have also leaked into the next. It's because, like, if you're a young person, right? Let's say you're my son's age, 26 years old.
Sure, yeah.
Short of superhero movies, like cultural touchstone movies, big pop culture movies, what do you have that's better than Goodfellas? You know what I mean? Like, they're like a lot of the stuff that we loved in the 90s just kept being popular because of access to it,
like,
and nobody replaced that section of filmmaking.
Right, yeah.
There's definitely people that have come close, like Ryan Johnson. There's a couple people that like definitely had potential to become a new generation. A lot of them got sucked up by the big budget movies.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, that like a lot of those big directors of whatever, the 21st century, don't get a chance to like keep working through their careers and to make a Goodfellas or to make a, well, I guess Pulp Fiction was the second movie, but they don't get a chance to keep building upon their ideas because, right, they get sucked up by the big franchises.
Right.
And then what happens to their next big movie?
I like Tarantino hasn't done that, but he's also claiming he's going to retire after the next one. So,
yeah, well, he said that every movie. So,
right.
You don't think it'll happen?
He hasn't said it every movie. He said 10 and done. This will be his 10th.
Yeah, I think it's hard for creative people to retire, though.
I think it'll be hard for him to retire too, but I wouldn't be shocked if he actually did it. Of all the people I've heard say those types of things, he seems like the type who might be like, yep, this is it. He might produce things, put his name on things, write things, but I'm not sure he'll direct again.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Right, writing he could keep doing. That could be his outlet right there. But I just don't see Tarantino just like, all right, I'm done, and then just disappearing.
I don't think he'll disappear from pop culture completely, but I think he might really want a 10 movie filmography that he's super happy with and then walk away.
And then James can get the trophy for that.
Yep. Exactly.
All right. My number 2 is one that I feel like has been mentioned recently on the show. It's The Fisher King from 1991.
Oh, that was on my list of September movies.
Okay.
Nice. I have seen one of your movies, Zach.
Hey, there you go. It's directed by Terry Gilliam. And it stars Robin Williams and Jeff Bridges. And James, do you want to tell us what this movie's about?
Sure. I think what's his name? You just said his name. Jeff Bridges. He's a teacher at Harvard or something. And Robin Williams is a homeless guy who unofficially audits his courses as well as other teachers at the school. And the students are like, why is this guy here? Like, why is this homeless guy sitting here learning what we're learning? We're paying like insane money and we had to work hard to get into this school. Why is he here? And turns out Robin Williams is actually pretty smart beneath that homeless wackiness. Thus, the Fisher King. Will he be kicked out of school? Or will he become the unofficial school mascot?
Is it good?
I pulled it up on Letterboxd and gave it 2 stars.
Okay.
So I don't remember when I did that. There's no review. So clearly this was pre-Letterboxd that I watched it, which would have been a long time ago now. So I don't have clear memories of the movie.
Well, it's the number 2 recommended movie to me by Letterboxd.
I mean, it's got a 3.9, so clearly higher than my 2 stars. So don't take my 2-star opinion that I don't even remember the details of to heart if you want to see it. Plus, if it's a Robin Williams movie you've never seen, this is definitely a Robin Williams movie. Like, he's just being a wacky homeless guy through the whole movie from my memory. So that's what you want from Robin. A wacky homeless guy who also occasionally gets sentimental and, not sentimental, but, acts. Trying to think of a movie that you maybe would compare it to. Patch Adams.
Okay.
Patch Adams.
That's a great comparison.
Patch Adams had comedy, but it was like had serious tones here and there. That's Fisher King.
Okay. Well,
It's Terry Gilliam's Patch Adams.
Right. They should have put that on the poster. Would have done it much better. My number 2, second most favorite movie that I will never get to talk about, that I'm going to talk about right now, is from 2006. It's called Mulberry Street. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this movie on the podcast, but
I've never heard of this.
possible I have. It's directed by Jim Mickle. It's his first movie ever, and it was made for nothing. $60,000 they made this movie for. It's a micro-budget horror film set in New York City at a time when Manhattan goes on lockdown because there's a virus amongst the people. But instead of it being a zombie virus, it's a virus where the people start to act like rats. Like the rats bite them, and then they start to act like rats, like they scurry around, they hide in corners, they bite at people's heels. And then over time, as they don't get fed, they get more and more hard to push back and insatiable. And then they literally start eating through the walls to try to get to the people that don't have the virus so that they can eat them, just like rats do. And so it's a super tightly shot, like tight as in like everything is up close on everybody because they had no budget. So like if they couldn't find a location that was perfect for something, they just made the shot super tight because they had no control over the people in the park type of thing. And so they just brought the camera in super tight on people's faces. And towards the end of the movie, the group that you've been surviving with is trapped inside an apartment complex, and literally the rat people are just bursting through the drywall at them, and they're like having to fight them off and like go down dark alleyways and try to run away from the rats. And it's I'm going to say silly movie. It's not presented as silly. It's presented as very serious, that it wants to be taken serious, but it's just campy enough and interesting because of the inventiveness of the no budget applied to the movie that it's definitely worth checking out. Jim Mickle, a guy who went on to do Stakeland, another micro budget movie done with vampires that I think Zach watched because I made him watch it for something.
Yep.
And so this, if you thought Stakeland was low budget, imagine even more low budget. That's Mulberry Street. And eventually he made a movie that Zach really likes, Cold in July. That was his fourth movie. So it took him 4 to get to one that Zach enjoyed. But but Mulberry Street, Stakeland, We Are What We Are, and Cold in July. All great movies. The perfect progression of a micro-budget filmmaker, I would say. Because he went from like no money, a little bit of money, decent money, to the guy who starred in Dexter. Pot boiling Southern mystery thriller. But it all started with Mulberry Street, my number 2. A movie you can't find online. I mean, you can if you know where to look, but
it's not easy to find on a streamer, is what you're saying.
For sure. It's not the type of movie that ever gets licensed to a streamer. Like you have to buy it pay-per-view or find it on the open seas.
Gotcha.
Are you guys ready for my number 1 movie featuring character name either Zach or James?
This has to be a Zach.
It has to
we
be
have
a Zach.
to be out
Okay.
of James at this point.
It's a Zach. It's a Zach.
Well, it is 2008's The Dark Knight.
Zach.
I'm going to say Zach.
You're both wrong.
No.
Bummer.
Mr. James / Jim Gordon.
Oh, the Jim
Oh.
threw me off. I don't
Yeah.
go by Jim.
Well, that's fine. I mean, he goes by James is his birth name, but Jim is whatever all his friends call him. Yeah. When I made this list,
Wait. Just
I
for
got-
the
I-
record, you confirmed that his birth name is James,
yeah, it's James Gordon.
but they call him Jim Gordon in everything.
Well, that's yeah. You know what? Bill Clinton. His name's William.
I need to see where you found him referred to as James Gordon anywhere.
Oh my goodness! I'm just gonna.
Because some people are named Jim. Like that is
Right.
a name that people are given.
Yeah. Okay. James Gordon, comic book character. Let me go to good old Wikipedia. James W. Jim Gordon Sr.
All right, I'll give it to you. If Wikipedia says
Okay.
it must be true.
If Wikipedia says it. What about the Batman Wiki, which has James Gordon?
I don't
The
need-
W's for Worthington.
I don't trust that, but I trust normal Wikipedia.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So when I made this list, I had 5 Zach movies. I had 5 James movies. I ranked them by how much I like them. The bottom 5 were all Zach. The top 5 were all James.
How is that possible? It felt like he was saying James the entire time. Doesn't it, Zach?
Well, that's because he got through the
I
Zacks.
guess.
So right, it has been a lot of James, but yeah. Apparently, if a movie has a Zach character, I just don't quite like it quite as much as I do a movie with a James character. So
I'm surprised that the 5-year engagement didn't make your list.
who is named Zach or James in the 5-year engagement?
Yeah, really.
There's a character called not Zach in the 5-year engagement.
Well, yeah, no, his name is not Zach. That's it's very clearly not Zach in that movie.
But it's a form of Zach.
I will say though, since we're on the topic of James W. Jim Gordon, probably the most consequential Jim Gordon of all the Batman different like takes on it. Like obviously Jim Gordon is a major Batman character in the lore,
Mhm.
but in most movies he's just kind of like in the background. Yeah, he's turning the police signal on. He has the conversations. He doesn't do much in the movies. And in the Dark Knight trilogy, Jim Gordon's a pretty major character.
He gets to do stuff.
He gets to do stuff. He's a part of the plot. He is actively participating with Batman, not just helping Batman out.
He's consequential.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. I would say maybe the only other consequential Jim Gordon is the one from the animated series.
Yeah. Yeah. The animated series was, when I was a kid, I thought it was so good. And I watch it now, it's still good. It's way better than like He-Man and like some other stuff
Right.
back from back then. But it's definitely for kids. Like you can't watch it as an adult the same way.
Yeah,
I haven't found.
it's for kids, but I also feel like it's a TV show that feels like when kids watch it, they're like, oh, I don't think this is actually for me, and like it gave
Right.
kids a window into an adult world. So
without
like,
being
I
really
think it's
dangerous at the same time.
right. But like there are there are scary characters in it.
Mhm.
Like there's definitely, and like its whole presentation of like kind of copying the Tim Burton style and
Mhm.
using lots of shadows. I think it's like for a lot of kids it felt like I'm watching a more adult show
Mhm.
and not some like silly cartoon that a lot of kids were watching, like He-Man, for example,
That's true.
and the Hanna-Barbera.
It might be
stuff.
more for like 11, 12, 13-year-olds than for like 7, 6, 5-year-olds type of thing.
Yes, right. Yeah.
I'll agree with that.
All right.
Nice.
My number 1 most recommended film to me by Letterboxd that I haven't seen. And I don't know why, but it is. It's from 1949, The Fountainhead.
Ayn Rand.
Heard of that.
Ayn
yeah.
Rand. Starring Gary Cooper and directed by King Vidor.
Gary Cooper, the sheriff from High Noon, right?
Gary Cooper from High Noon.
Yep.
And yeah.
I've never heard of King Vidor.
Oh, you've heard of his films though. He did The Crowd.
Nope.
Well, you've never heard of The Crowd?
I've never heard
I've
of the
not
crowd.
heard of The Crowd.
The Crowd is amazing. The Big Parade. Have you heard of that?
Nope.
Stella
Oh,
Dallas.
okay.
Have you ever heard of War and Peace?
I've heard of War and Peace, but like not the King Vidor version of it.
So The Crowd is absolutely a movie. If you want to watch an amazing silent film, you should see The Crowd. Like, that's a 5-star movie for me. It's basically like silent films. The technique and like the cinematography got so good, and then they invented sound, and it was super heavy, and they couldn't do any of the cool things that they were like figuring out. And so films in 1929 are like really awful, and in 1928 are amazing. You know what I mean? Like as soon as they switch to sound, every other aspect of filmmaking suffers in order to like add sound in. But in The Crowd,
took them a while to get back in the running, and then the color happened, and then they're like, "Oh crap!
Yeah,
now we got this other thing."
Yeah, not again.
Yeah,
exactly. So The Crowd is incredible. Some of the cinematography it shows is really great. But so I liked that film a lot. So maybe that's, and I like High Noon a lot. Maybe that's why I recommended The Fountainhead.
Yeah,
but I've never read the book by Ayn Rand. I got halfway through Atlas Shrugged and gave up. So I don't know.
Isn't Ayn Rand
Did you say that you put down Atlas Shrugged and shrugged?
Have either of you read Atlas Shrugged or The Fountainhead?
I think I started Atlas Shrugged like in high school, and again felt the same way. I'm like, all right, this is enough of this.
Not a chance. I was too busy reading Entertainment Weekly.
Sure. So an uncompromising visionary architect struggles to maintain his integrity and individualism despite personal, professional, and economic pressures to conform to popular standards.
Isn't Ayn Rand like a libertarian? Isn't that like a lots of libertarians like her?
You're right. The individualism that Zach mentioned, that's sort of her whole thing of, bootstraps and anyone can achieve if they are just work hard enough.
When I was like in those circles a little bit around the Ron Paul era, I remember a lot of people talking about Ayn Rand.
Right.
And I was just like, I don't know anything about this, but okay.
Well, and also in a lot of her books, stories, literature, like government gets in the way. It's government is stifling innovation and creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's my number one most recommended film.
Do you think you're going to watch it?
I do like King Vidor, so I might just for that reason.
And how political do you think this movie would be? Because obviously, if this movie was made in the last 20, well, I guess they made this movie in the last 20 years.
No. This is from 1949.
No, I'm sorry. They've made The Fountainhead in the last 20, or maybe they did Atlas Shrugged with Orange is the New Black Woman, Taylor, whatever her name is.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know
either.
So like, I'm saying like, if this movie was made now, it would definitely be political. I wonder how political this movie is in 1949.
I better be political back then.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it's not like the 40s weren't a very political time.
No, nothing happened in the 40s.
2011, they remade it with Taylor Schilling.
That's her name, Taylor Schilling. But so that was The Fountainhead. Was that Fountainhead or Atlas Shrugged?
Atlas Shrugged.
Okay.
They made it in 2 parts, 2011, 2012.
Yep. That's right.
I can't imagine a lot of people saw that.
It has a 2.0 rating on Letterboxd.
But again, I think it's hard to trust those ratings because I wonder how much of that's people responding to the politics of the movie,
right?
And not the quality of the movie.
Sure, it has almost no 4.5 or 5-star ratings whatsoever
On Letterboxd.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, it's not like a bunch of people rated it to give it half stars and a bunch of people rated it to give it 5 stars. No one liked it.
You're right. And I do think the Letterboxd community overall is a bit more objective than like IMDb ratings. There's less review bombing going on Letterboxd
for sure.
Less review bombing, but there's definitely certain movies that people pile on just because that's what Letterboxd people do sometimes is they get behind a movie just because they want to get behind it, not necessarily because it's really that great.
The fourth Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie piled on by Letterboxd.
Yep.
They hate it.
It's a real pile on over there at that movie.
Yeah, I hate it.
Shut down the site. My number one, I think I've mentioned this on the podcast, but I don't feel like I've gotten to talk about it enough. It's from 1987, a movie I rewatched just a few months ago, titled Batteries Not Included.
The cartoon?
No, not the cartoon. Live action, science fiction, comedy drama. Have either of you seen Batteries Not Included?
I was thinking of the Brave Little Toaster.
A very different thing, I think. And also not completely different.
This is asterisk Batteries Not Included.
Right. All lowercase.
Oh.
All lowercase.
Yes.
I have not seen this. Is this a tiny robot movie?
This is a tiny robot movie. Look who wrote the screenplay. Brad Bird.
Okay. I have seen this. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Wow, that's awful.
On
You need to
IMDb.
rewatch it. It's a 5-star movie all the way.
I don't think I've seen it. I have no memory of this whatsoever.
Well, how did you give it a rating?
Seen this.
I don't know.
Okay.
This
movie.
This seems like a movie. I'm familiar with this movie. I don't know if I've seen it or if I just saw the VHS cover as a kid. But
well, let me set it up
yeah.
for people who don't know what we're talking
Sure.
about. New York City, 80s. I don't know if it's set in the 80s, but certainly was made in the 80s. They're knocking down all the brownstones, the 4 or 5-story brownstones, in order to build high rises. And there's one holdout building with a old-timey 50s cafe downstairs and families living in the units upstairs. And the greedy corporation is offering them money to move out of the building because they're renters, in order to buy the building so that they can demolish it. And they don't want to leave. The residents don't want to leave because the whole place is being gentrified with upper class Wall Street people. And they liked their old neighborhood. So all these people who don't really know each other but live in the same building for the most part, don't want to leave. And the bad guys, the developers, hire thugs to try to pressure them into leaving by like being mean to them and punching them and breaking their windows and stuff like that. Kind of light harassment, I would say. And meanwhile, a UFO that's maybe the size of a hockey puck shows up, and it's like the cutest little alien you've ever seen. UFO alien with little legs and arms and stuff like that. Just kind of shows up at the place, and for food it eats metal, so it'll like eat a toaster, like tear it up into little scraps and then eat it.
I do remember that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that sounds familiar a lot.
And there's like an old couple that runs the cafe downstairs, and the wife has dementia and the husband's taking care of her, and they're both like still running the cafe. They've been running it for like 50 years or something like that. And there's like immigrant stories in the building, and single mother stories in the building, and like just, a whole diverse group of people living there, I would say, who come together to try to fight off the developers and last in the building as long as they can. Meanwhile, this alien UFO little mini spaceship has special powers, let's say, and assists them. And it's all very, very charming, I would say. One of the most charming movies I've ever seen. It's a little silly, and a little sappy at times, but I really enjoy it. I remember watching it as a kid and loving it, and I probably watch it once every 5 years or so. I'm just reminded of it, and I'm like, I should watch that again. And every time I watch it, I'm like, yep. I could see like somebody who's a full-grown adult who isn't really into movies watching this and thinking, what the heck? Like, why would anybody attach themselves to this? But I have, and I enjoy it, and that's why it's my number one most movie I want to talk about.
So, Zach, you think you've seen this?
I think I have.
It seems really familiar. Yeah.
Kyle, this is a movie you could watch with your kid tomorrow. There's nothing in it that's offensive. Zach, maybe wait a couple years just because, there's a little people deviousness with the builders and stuff like that.
Oh, man.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's all,
I don't want him to learn about tycoons. That's too much to talk about.
It's all
right
very ET level. So if you think your kid could handle a less emotionally intense ET. You got batteries not included.
Well, he handles ET way better than I do, so I think he can
Perfect.
handle batteries not included
Absolutely.
also.
And it's like Amblin, I believe, if not produced by Steven Spielberg, it's probably executive produced. And Matthew Robbins was a collaborator with George Lucas. He worked on Sugarland Express, Close Encounters, Jaws, a bunch of Guillermo del Toro movies later on in life. He's a dude that's been around Hollywood, and this is maybe the only movie. No, he directed Dragon Slayer.
Oh, we talk about dragons. Did we all watch Dragon Slayer for the Dragon episode?
I watched it.
Yeah.
I don't think it made my
I think
list,
we all did.
but he hasn't directed anything since 1993, so it's been quite a bit. But writer of Sugarland Express.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, I'm going to bring it all back around here because one of the similar films for Batteries Not Included is Lost in Space, which is my number 10.
Nice.
Well, there you go.
The next time,
And I also
go ahead.
I also came to the realization that both my number 10 Zach and my number 1 James were played by the same actor,
Oh yeah,
Gary Oldman.
Hey,
I didn't. I just caught there was a Gary Oldman bookend there.
nice. Love Gary Oldman bookends. Kyle, the next time you do this, you got to give us a top 10 list with characters named
Carl.
Please.
Well, I gotta say, of all the Zach, James, or Kyles, I think I have the coolest one.
not Kyle.
Carl.
Oh, Carl. Okay.
Wait, of all the names?
Of all the characters that could be named James
Mhm.
or Zach or Kyle, I think I have the coolest one of all of them.
What's that? Kyle
As,
Reese.
as a Kyle. Yeah, Kyle Reese from the Terminator.
He's not a great character though.
He's a cool character though.
No. Cooler is Zach Morris.
He's not a
He's
movie
not
character.
A movie character.
He is absolutely a movie character. He's been in several movies.
Not Saved by the
Theatrically
Bell
released movies.
do not count.
Those are movies.
were not-
They absolutely count.
No.
I know. I
He's
did
been
not
in
count.
more than one narrative films, and Zach Morris is objectively cool.
They're
Oh no, Kyle Reese is way cooler than Zach Morris.
No, Zach Morris is the most popular kid in school. Kyle Reese was probably not the most popular kid
Okay,
in this school.
Zach Morris 100% peaked in high school.
He was
and-
popular in college too.
Zach Morris or Kyle Reese peaked when he created his own future general.
Look, I like the Terminator movies. I like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Terminator. I even like Norton, whatever his name is, Edward Norton. Nobody
Furlong?
walks away from the Terminator movies thinking Kyle Reese was the cool one.
Hey, if your name is Kyle, you do.
No, no way. No shot.
Sorry, we all can't have James Bond and Wolverine sharing our names.
just
We have to try
saying.
and find it where we can. I mean, Zach has to dig into TV movies to try and feel cool about his characters. I at least got a real one.
Yeah, I don't know. Also,
It's amazing how much better characters James gets.
for sure.
It really like I had a stretch to find 5. I wanted to give you a shot, Zach,
Thank you.
but the best I could give you was like a Kid in Bastion's show and the kid from Kindergarten Cop.
I don't mean to be weird here, but before we go, I just have to show you this cover again.
You don't have to do this, James. You don't have to do this.
Look at like
Okay.
the little crotch area. What is that?
That's probably on the actual suits.
You think
It's probably their diaper.
that's
No. It opens up a hole that they can go to the bathroom through.
You definitely don't want. Oh,
while you're floating around? These are like
Well,
outdoor suits.
you got it. Yeah, you're right. Those are their space suits. I feel like
Right.
you want as little seam as possible on those. You're not going to be doing a EVA and having to use the bathroom.
I don't know. It seems weird. I'm just saying, if I was the artist, even if that's in the original suit, I think I would have drawn it a little different because it kind of
I
it
mean-
looks like a diaper.
It's on the suits. I'm looking at pictures of the actual Apollo 13 suits.
I believe it, but I bet they're far less conspicuous than this is right now.
Why is Kevin Bacon
Why is this
different than the
little
other guys?
Is that
Yeah,
a commentary?
why does he have a little
It's-
one?
It's very much there. It's
He
conspicuous.
put his on backwards, clearly.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon's wearing his suit backwards.
Thank you for joining us for this episode 650 of the Cinereelists. This was a fun one. We appreciate your listenership. Don't forget, there's a video version of this podcast on YouTube. Go check it out there. Subscribe while you listen. Follow us on Patreon, patreon.com/Cinereelists. You could support us there as well and help put out the after show, which is a fun little thing we do after most episodes of the podcast. You could leave us an Apple Podcast review, 5 stars only, or send us a listener email to heyguys@cinereelists.com, REEL with an S on the end. Send a comment, question, list, suggestion, movie suggestion, any of those kinds of things. You could also follow us on social media on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook @Cinereelists, or follow me on my personal Twitter, Blue Sky, or Letterboxd account at EOJRB.
You can follow me on Twitter or Letterboxd @Shaubin.
Find me on Letterboxd @Peter SKB.
We will be back next week with Megalopolis from Francis Ford Coppola, his long gestating sci-fi drama. Is that what it is? Or is it a crime drama? I don't know what it is.
I've tried to not know very much about
Same
it.
here. I haven't seen any trailers. I know it's like a big epic that he had to spend his own money to get made.
Yeah.
And it's been like 20 years in the making. But he finally did it, for better or for worse, evidently. We'll see. Do you think you'll like it? When's the last time you saw a Francis Ford Coppola movie you actually liked?
It's been a while.
I don't think I've seen the 70s.
Right.
That was his decade.
You've never seen one on release that you liked.
I don't think I've ever seen a Francis Ford Coppola movie on release.
You didn't see Twixt?
No, I did not see Twixt.
Really? I thought everybody had seen that movie by now.
No. I've didn't he do Jack or something with Robin Williams?
Oh, did he? I don't even know.
I think that's I don't think I've ever seen a Coppola movie on release.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Are we gonna pair it with a list? Top 10 Francis Ford Coppola movies we haven't seen?
We haven't seen.
Has he made 10?
I think so. He's got 2 Godfathers, The Conversation, Apocalypse Now.
2 Godfathers.
Well, 3 Godfathers. He got 3 Godfathers. Sorry, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, 2 Godfathers. That's what I'm saying. I think he might have 7 or 8, but I'm not sure he has 10 yet.
I think he's got 10. He might have to dig.
All right. We'll talk about it next week. Can't wait to see you guys there. Until then, keep it cinereal.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.